the hero just gets so much armor, right?
Yeah.
And, Templar Assassin functions off of refraction most of the time. So if he has like his Manta popped and like one or two extra illusions from his own skill set, then you basically lose your refraction in one round of attacks and you turn into dust. Like you're just
Yeah.
a goner. So they're actually just facilitating his hero more than they are really caring about what the lanes are, I think.
Right. And yeah, TB can also lane mid. But they take Medusa with their final. So a serious hard carry here. Some late game security for Team Random. Not a hero that we've seen yet. We've talked about her a little bit, but haven't seen her actually picked up. Interesting. I think we've mostly talked about her in combination with Magnus, Medusa plus Empower. So it's a standalone Dusa.
I actually think it's okay. If you look at, OG's lineup, they don't have a tremendous amount of burst damage. Pretty much where it comes from is like, okay, a puck initiation and then maybe TA jumps you. And that's like the quote-unquote burst that they're bringing to the table. They also have no form of mana burn, which is great against Medusa in any way, like anti-mage, lion mana drain, diffusal, manta,
Couldn't Naga
whatever.
get a diffusal?
You can. It's become less prevalent. Like, most of the time, you just want to rush for your split pushing items. You want to get your Octarine as soon as possible. And then you just want to make your illusions tanky. Because you don't really care about fighting with the hero that much. It's more just about making sure that your illusions get the most effectiveness by split pushing that they feasibly can. And I think that with the Legion and the Lion already, and having Medusa on top of that, they'll have a pretty good amount of wave clear and things to deal with the illusions in general. So the Medusa is kind of nice to be like that late game siege hero where, as before, the only person that was really going to be hitting towers was a Legion, so they obviously needed a right clicker.
Yeah.
And that's part of the big reason why in the, I think it was the second fan phase for OG, they took out the SF, because they just know, okay, this team needs a mid that can actually hit buildings, and Medusa was one of the best choices left available, I think.
I also like the supporting cast that they have around the Medusa. You've got potential swaps from the Vengeful Spirit, heals from the Warlock, stuns from the Warlock. Lion has a lot of disables. LC has pressed the attack. They have a lot of ways to stick this Medusa in the front line and then keep her safe if things don't go according to plan. Very important. Dusa not really known for her mobility. So, all right, let's take a look at some of these. And I think in the last game, I actually got all of my predictions wrong, Draskell. It's hard to do that.
I mean, someone's got to be talented enough to do it, Zyora. You're just that person. You just got to get in there and show everyone, because if you're anything like the far right side of the panel, which is on the first day, I think it was wrong 100% of the time or something crazy like that, you're just giving people free predictions because they just do the opposite of what you do.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Total number of player deaths at game end. So that's basically how many kills plus denies to neutrals. God, I don't know. That's a hard one.
I would say a number greater than 0.
Wow, that's a bold claim there, Draskell. My.
Sorry, I purged that one, didn't I? I just completely went like middle of the field.
I would take any non-zero number. Well, touche, salesman. All right.
Listen, sometimes you gotta play it safe.
Fair enough, man. So it looks like no trickery. Both teams got some initial wards down. They just went back for their bounty runes. Dire, they'll ward up the enemy shrine, as well as get ward down here in the mid. Radiant, they'll also drop a lane ward mid, and they'll take some vision down bottom of this rune spawn and kind of entryway into the Radiant jungle. So neither side have any sentry action going on, so we'll have normal full vision to get things started as everybody heads to the lanes. TA versus Medusa mid. Safe lane try for OG, and it looks like a 2-1-2 coming out of Team Random, at least to start. Faith Beyond here on the Legion Commander will be supported by the Lion, who charges forward. And that means down bottom it'll be a 2-on-1 favoring Team Random here with S4 in the solo off lane against the farming bench.
It's actually a bit rough, I think, for Puck in this off lane. Like, a lot of the time when you're playing against a support, you can phase shift the majority of the right-click damage, thus making the trade favorable for you. But Shadow Word does an insane amount of damage at level 1. It's 15 damage a second for 12 seconds. Yeah. So no matter what, you're just not going to be winning that trade.
Yep. Also a really annoying hero against Puck because damage over time is amazing against phase shift. You know, Puck really has no way to stop that slow sustained damage even once he levels up a little bit. We'll see
Yeah,
what
he's going to
S4
struggle
does.
for sure.
I mean, one of the drawbacks of Puck is you can't really retreat to the jungle. We were talking about Magnus in that first series. Part of his power is just grabbing the Iron Talon and being able to find that recovery farm. What does Puck do in this kind of situation where the lane is this brutal? I mean, he's almost going to die here. He's going to have to pop the Shrine and the Fairy Fire.
I mean, you really can only do what he's doing right now. You try to play it as aggressively as possible. Make it so that Ice has to commit all of his time to just you. He's not allowed to stack pull. He's not allowed to do anything else. Faith Beyond, though.
Yeah,
Getting
up top.
Gone on here.
No Tail connects with the Ensnare, but overwhelming odds. There's a lot of return damage to Jerax. And OG will kind of back out. No Tail presses forward, gets a little bit of extra damage in, but takes some in return as he just heads back to farming.
Well, I guess... Wait a minute. He didn't go back and get his own bounty rune? Oh, he got the other one. Okay. So they trade bounty runes, basically. The support from Team Random and then S4 getting the other one.
Yeah.
But he's actually able to get his own pull-off. Realizes that Ice isn't in the lane. This kind of stuff is a really big deal as off-lane. Oh, no. He lost vision.
Wow.
Because Ice was walking over with the double damage. That actually sucks.
Yeah,
if he had gotten the pull, that's like a full creep wave for him. And that's a really big deal. Gets him like almost to level 4, probably.
Yeah. Thought for a second there the Warlock might be able to find a rotation with the double damage, but just heads right back to lane. Medusa forced to pop the Shrine in the mid. Looks like TA having a pretty good time here in this matchup. Relatively even in last hits, but Anna with quite a few more denies.
Yeah, Refraction is really hard for Medusa to deal with. You don't have any way of really contesting the last hit, so I guess what you want to probably do if you're Shadow is just try to bounce the Mystic Snake, because TA is not a full-fledged ranged hero. So you should be able to drain mana at the very least, but looks like there's going to be a little bit of bottle crowing here just to make sure that he's able to continually just pop Refraction on cooldown and make sure that he's not getting harassed too much by the snake.
Also curious what build the Medusa goes for here. Usually with mid Medusa, you see something a little bit more high tempo. You know, like Phase Boots Yasha comes to mind. Mix a Dragonlance in there. But you definitely want items that can allow you to fight early. You know, utilize that ultimate TP into towers if OG gets a little bit aggressive. Any thoughts about what Shadow might build?
I wouldn't actually be surprised if he goes Midas this game. Just because, you know, they have Warlock teamfight. They have Faith Beyond on the Legion Commander as well. Normally this hero gets, you know, a pretty good amount even in the hardest situation, but I mean, it really depends on what they want to do. Do they want to actually try to fight around every chaotic offering and take towers? Or are they okay, like, waiting a little bit for Shadow to get some farm? Because, you know, at this phase, the longer it goes in mid, the harder it's going to get for the Medusa. Because the more points in Refraction, the less likely it is that he's going to be able to CS.
And so far, basically no rotations mid. It's just been a straight-up 1v1 match. S4 down bottom, that's the first blood.
See you later.
Yep, caught that one. Ice gets it with that DOT damage, compliments of Shadow Word. So, to complement what you were saying before, S4 trying to stay aggressive, get some experience, but will occasionally get caught in situations like that.
It's one of those trade-offs that I think a lot of offlaners kind of struggle with, as Jerax, thinking of picking off an offlaner.
Yep, Faith Beyond very low. Jerax with the Primal Spring. Does he actually find it here? He needs one more auto attack, and he gets it.
You got the Orb of Venom, man.
Is that what that was?
Damage a second. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see the auto attack. Yeah, good call. You're right, it was the Orb. The Oov kill. Style points.
And he gets the Ursa.
Yeah.
That's like the absolute dream.
That is a happy Monkey King.
I think in a way it might actually be better for OG that, you know, Faith Beyond is suffering so much. Because if you look at him right now, he's only level 2. S4 is level 4. Like, he's got boots, he's got a raindrop, and a TP, which doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, you compare that to what Faith Beyond is rocking right now, his inventory looks a little sad, too.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking, you know, Jerax committing all his time, just walking to the woods, like, following Faith Beyond around, soaking his EXP, stopping him from becoming that menace that we've seen so many times already within, like, the first 2 days of the group stage. This is, like, the counterplay. And now there's a hasted TA running at him, so he's probably dead again.
It looks like it. Here's the wraparound. Primal Spring connects. He's slowed into all oblivion. And there's just nothing he can do. No way to survive. Jerax will take credit for that kill. The Boundless Strike finds the last hit. But a worthy rotation for the TA. And with the haste, she'll be able to make it right back into lane.
I'm surprised he didn't kill the baby golems, actually. He saw them there. And he had the Jingwu Mastery. Jingu Mastery. I guess he maybe wanted to see if he could go on mid too.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, okay, never mind. There was a sentry. I was like, did he
Yeah.
just place it in tower range?
I had
And
the
then
same
was like,
exact
nope.
thought. Not quite. Dusa maintaining some vision control there in the mid lane. We haven't talked about the Vengeful Spirit too much. She's been pretty quiet, just farming away in the bottom lane, but leading net worth right now, I think also the CS leader. Well, about on par with the Naga. Phase boots up. Normal, solid start for the Vengeful Spirit. Pretty much been left alone, and they may start to try and pressure this tower. Well, I shouldn't say left alone, but more like S4 just can't do anything to stop him from farming.
I mean, all things considered, I'd say most heroes really wouldn't get that much out of this lane. I'd say Puck is maybe one of the few who can actually do something about it.
Yeah.
But we can see here, Fatal Bonds just actually bringing him almost a half HP on their own. And they have the rotation from Y coming in as well.
Yeah, rotation bottom on the Puck, and it looks like OG want to try to rotate mid on the Dusa. Fly was lingering in the tree line on the Disruptor. Didn't quite find the opening. Now Lion dives way past the tier 1, drops the stun, follow-up Hex, and S4 will take yet another tumble as they find the magic missile. Random in a little bit deep, but no way that OG can come and punish this. They'll just have to let him walk out. Nice kill.
It was a really, really nice movement, yeah. As soon as they saw him orb to pull the creeps off the tower, they pretty much just went in. They're like, yep, it's our time, you don't have an escape anymore. He just beelines it for the most obvious path that the Puck can take to get to safety. I guess in that scenario, probably would have been safer to auto-attack, as they're going to get Fly, too. It's just standing in front of the tower.
Yeah. Unexpected. Kind of a freebie. All right, Medusa hanging in there. Very even with the TA. I mean, they're within like 5 GPM of each other at this point. So this mid lane, a complete wash. And no tail up top. Just farming away towards the Radiance. Arcane boots up, and now the quest for the Relic begins. It probably will continue to be a relatively quiet game for the next couple minutes here as both teams get towards their core items. LC, still not level 6, just now hits 5, but still needs more time before that precious duel becomes available.
Yeah, Faith Beyond's struggling here big time. It's kind of unfortunate, too, for Team Random that he's the one who's kind of biting the bullet here because, you know, during the mid-game, Legion can offer you so much in terms of pick-off potential and, like, map pressure. But because of the fact that he's kind of been shut down this hard, his blink is going to be super late. It's already 9 minutes in, and he's only got 100 gold after his phase boots. So,
yeah,
all things considered, that's just more time for No Tail and Ana and S4 to feel, you know, pretty safe doing whatever they want to do, as long as, you know, they're not sitting in the offlane. I guess yeah, S4 might struggle a bit still, but respectively, it's like S4 will be able to contribute more without a blink than Faith Beyond will.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just having an AoE silence alone gives Puck a lot of utility. So back to farming we go. Jerax now is rotated mid to soak a little bit of XP while Ana kills the big stack. This was a triple stack here. So that'll give him a nice little chunk of change, secure the power treads.
Now, Team Random really want to try to do something top. Like, that is a very squishy disruptor. Faith Beyond maybe hit 6, and then they could potentially go for something.
They're certainly thinking about it. As Monkey King also lingering Jerax with phase boots now. He's really had a very effective early game.
Well, he camped that poor Legion commander. Like, he just freaking sat there. And he's like, yep, you're not going to get any creeps. I'm just going to kill you. I'm going to kill you again.
I mean, it paid off. He's almost got the same XP as Legion Commander. I mean, Faith Beyond's now a little bit ahead of him because he moved into a neutral camp. And with level 6 available, they might look for a duel on Fly. There's the rock, follow-up duel, and it's easy damage for the LC. That's plus 10.
Yeah, it's a tower golem. It's really not even for the support kill, although it does secure him the damage, like you mentioned. Just want to try to pressure the tower in whatever way they can.
Yeah.
Because they know, like, the pace of the game kind of needs to go quicker for them because they're playing against that Naga. Like, No Tail's been farming this whole time. He's got 2,000 gold on top of his arcanes and his infused raindrops, so he's on pace, what needs to be his highest CS in the game at the moment. So the more map control that Team Random can take away at this point in the game, the better it's going to be.
It looks like the tier 1 tower will indeed fall. Glyph's already been used, and OG will not mount a defense. No rotations come. So they get the target that they wanted, and a little extra money goes the way of Team Random. Glancing at the graph, holding on to that 1,500 net worth lead, but OG now pulling slightly ahead in terms of experience. That'll tend to happen when one team groups up to push down towers and the other one stays spread out to farm the map. Now smoke from OG. We'll see a haste in the bottle of Anna. Maybe a Vengeful Spirit here, the target. It could take a tumble. Potentially a 4-on-1.
He knows something's up.
Yeah, a lot of heroes missing off the map. Take a look at Radiant Vision, and yeah, all you see is the puck. You know something's going on. Good positioning here from the Venge. Not making this easy for him, but Ana with the haste rune pops it. They die behind the tower. Instant TPs coming out of the Radiant. They want to try to contest this. Dream Coil on 2. They will bring down the Venge, it looks like. TA still very healthy as Faith Beyond comes in. Nice stun from Jerax. Connects on 2 with the Boundless Strike, and Faith Beyond will just get right-clicked. It's 3 heroes down on the side of Random. The staggered TPs cost them big as OG take a convincing team fight.
It was a really nicely coordinated dive, to be honest. Like, they throw the orb in, it gives vision. They see no heroes besides the Venge, so they know they have to TP Shadow. Looks like he's going to be okay, just able to walk it off here in the middle lane. But, yeah, the dive was, like, perfectly executed. They got the coil on 2 heroes, the Static Storm was there as well. Forced one of the heroes to walk, like, too far over to the right to be able to help. And they, like, TP'd in a nice, like, pattern to where they wouldn't all get caught by the AoE spells. But the problem was Blink died before anyone really was able to do anything about it. And at that rate, with no golem either, that was like the go time. It was like, okay, no rock, they killed our tier 1, let's go kill some heroes.
Huge for S4, though. 1,700 gold now towards the Blink Dagger, and even after that slow start we were talking about, he's going to end up having a Blink at a pretty reasonable timing for an off-lane puck. And No Tail, again, farming away. 3,000 gold now towards the Relic. Still looking pretty good for this timing. Rotation from the Lion.
I feel like
Nope. Okay.
I always see these games where, one team has a hero that invades the jungle, and one hero has a team that doesn't invade the jungle. And when that happens, like, the offlaners or the supports always suffer. And S4.
Yep. Swap. Nice stun. Connects on the Venge, but there's the Golem from Ice. And they will find the kill there, but Jerax drops the Monkey King ult. Wukong's command. Doesn't really connect on much, but they will find the Venge, Ensnare, and Boundless Strike. They should be able to chase him down. Meanwhile, on the other side, they did find a kill on Fly. TA jumps in, brings down Ice. We'll get a freebie on the Golem. Ends up kind of okay for OG. It's a 2 for 2, but they get the kill on that high-priced Vengeful Spirit. However, S4 dies at this delicate period where he has all that unreliable gold before the blink, so both teams taking some losses, though OG do get the net worth gain out of it.
That was a huge win for OG, actually. Like, at face value, you're right. The net worth exchange was relatively equal, and it kind of stinks that S4's blink is going to be delayed. But you have to keep in mind one thing. The Golem for Team Random needs to get objectives. When the Golem doesn't get a tower kill, it's pretty much a bad Golem at this stage in the game, especially if it's a tier 1. Because a tier 1 should technically be the easier towers to take because there isn't a blink on the puck, and, there's no radiance on the Naga, so there should be, like, the least contention for these tier 1 tower fights, and they're still trading evenly, dropping a rock, losing the rock, and then not actually getting the tower. Like, that is a really, really bad thing for Team Random. Not to say that, like, the game's over or anything like that, but it's just something that you should always keep in mind.
No, when you put it that way, it definitely seems a lot worse than I was first thinking. Glancing at the Warlock's queued up items here, very ambitious. He's going Midas, Aghanim's Refresher. So long road ahead for Ice. But he's getting pretty close to the Midas, actually. Only a few hundred gold away. Song of the Siren. No Tail sets it up. They do catch the Venge. They also catch the Warlock in the trees, and it looks like they want to do both. Static Storm, Kinetic Field on the Vengeful Spirit, and Ice just gets initiated on with straight right clicks. Jerax will find the kill there, but Finger of Death brings down the Naga Siren, and it ends up not being the clean fight that OG were hoping for. Stone Gaze from Shadow, trying to slow things down a little bit. They will catch the duel on Anna, but he is hasted up. Might still be able to run away. Anna actually lives through it, kills the LC, takes the bonus damage, and now they will get the follow-up kill on Venge. Somehow, some way, Draskell, this is going to end up a full team wipe. All 5 of Random hit the deck, and OG, sure they lose their Naga, but a worthy sacrifice if you can pick up a full team wipe at 16 minutes.
Yeah, no Golem. I mean, that's...
Is that it? Just hashtag no Golem.
Hashtag no golem. That's literally it. Like, they can just run at you in that fashion, and they can aggressively song. That's the big thing. They song to set up 2 kills. They immediately get the hero that was closest to the tower, then they also find the warlock in the jungle, and they pretty much just drop everything on them straight away. And then at that point, you're already on the back foot, and since there's no disengage, in this case, Chaotic Offering, then you don't have any way of getting yourself back into the team fight. Faith Beyond dueled a refracted Templar assassin. Like, that is a panic maneuver if I've ever seen one. Like, okay, maybe he thought they could get the kill.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, in a way, maybe they almost had enough damage. But, you know, once that happens and the rest of the side of OG is able to catch up, that fight's over. Like, sure, they killed No Tail, but he still got his relic. He's still only like 800 gold away from the Radiance.
Yeah.
This timer that Naga Siren has, it's not about when the Radiance happens, it's when like the item after the Radiance happens that you really have to start to worry. Because at this stage in the game, yeah, you can still kill the illusions pretty easily. You know, you have that overwhelming odds. You got, you know, Mystic Snake still does a really good amount of damage, Lion as well. I mean, it's still some time left.
Still a little bit of time, but to be real, Andy, the TA is scarier than anything else right now. She just picked up a Desolator. Ana was, he actually had the Deso queued up first, but stopped off for the Blink Dagger. Now has both by 18 minutes, almost 10k net worth, about 50% ahead of the Vengeful Spirit, the leading farmer on the Radiant. I mean, right now, this TA is nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy matchup. Like, not really much outside influence coming in from Team Random when it comes to the mid lane. So you got a TA against a hero that can't break refraction. He's gonna farm. He got ancient stacks from his team, cleared both of them, again, without any interruption from Team Random, and they kind of just get hosed. So it's looking a little bit rough right now for the X-Wings team, but, you know, again, they do have the Dusa.
Very true. They've also got double Midas. One on the Venge, one on the Warlock. So they have some ability to scale into the late game. Double stack of Ancients getting cleared out by the Medusa. Looks like she'll be able to finish him off. But mid lane, Faith Beyond.
Dear Lord.
Absolutely obliterated. I mean, that's a Legion commander, too. It looked like he was just killing a lion. I mean, LC's not the tankiest hero, but my word.
Yeah, it's terrible. Faith Beyond has not really had much of an influence in this game, and I don't really think it's his fault per se. It's more just the Monkey King was the bane of his existence. Like, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted, followed him around, and sure, they pressured S4 too, but I guess for the lineup of Team Random, the offlane position is more integral to their success than what OG's is.
Yes.
So they can have S4 have a rough start, and he'll be able to make that comeback because, again, ease of execution, the puck can contribute much more reliably than a Legion. The Legion needs items.
Kong's command is almost a solo kill on Ice Ice. He survives, but that Warlock was at full HP. All right.
I think he was trying to force a Chaotic Offering. That would have been like the ultimate dream scenario. Even if he died, if he got Golemed, it would have been worth it.
Yeah.
But he's just going to get out of there.
Solar Crest on the way for Jerax, but yeah, to complement that point, as we talked about in the draft, you know, OG have so many ways to initiate fights or even counter-initiate fights on a number of different heroes. For Random, they have some options, but definitely a bit more reliant on Faith Beyond with that Blink duel. And for the LCs, at this point now, we're 20 minutes in. Sure, he's got the Blink Dagger, or she rather, so squishy. Blade Mail very far away. I mean, only has a Chainmail, 400 gold. Can't even get these cheap value items with the easy build-up.
I mean, the Blade Mail Blink is really all you need, as long as your team is there to back you up. That's going to be like the most important thing for Faith Beyond going into like the mid-late game, is can my team actually get me damage? Because right now, the only thing that's really going to quote-unquote secure a duel is Finger of Death. That's it. No one else really has the burst, so... You know, looking at Medusa's items, didn't go for the Midas, just like you mentioned earlier, went for the more fighty kind of style. And I think that's mostly attributed to the fact that they are kind of behind at the moment. And maybe he just feels like he needs to contribute more.
Yeah, I think triple Midas gets a little risky. He's in a very precarious situation, though. They're going to walk right past it. OG kind of fake him out. Meld from the TA.
They can, like,
someone walks by
right now.
Yeah.
Oh no, he placed his own ward. He spotted him. Oh no, but he misses the stun.
Oh, but he gets the Hex. So they'll get a freebie onto Fly, it looks like. It's a 5-on-1. Let's see how much space Fly can make. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. actually stays alive for a staggering amount of time as he drops the glimpse. Pretty legit survival, and all that was...
Yeah, but they're losing Roshan because of this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Real space created. Well done by Fly. Valuable seconds.
God, that was like... It was actually better that his TP got cancelled, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the hero dies, then, you know, Team Random are looking back at it going, well, everyone's missing, and the TA is not here anymore. Wonder what they're doing. But, you know, in the time that it takes to realize that, unfortunately... With a Deso on a TA, they just managed to take the Roshan out from underneath them.
Yeah.
And now they're in even more of an awkward scenario.
There aren't that many like 1v5 scenarios like that where you can definitively say it's a good idea to just use your ultimate when you're guaranteed dead, but there, it's like the perfect hero. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, they're all locked in place in the trees. Brilliant. Solar Crest up on Jerax now, and OG moving into the biggest lead we've seen this game, though. Even though it feels like OG are really in control, Random are farming through this pretty well. I mean, 4,000 net worth at 22 minutes is definitely recoverable. One good team fight, and Random could be right back in this. So they are still getting a lot out of the map, and their cores are still scaling pretty well. Ana still happily seated at #1 on net worth, but you know, the gap isn't really growing. It's still around that 3K it was 5-10 minutes ago.
I think it's just attributed to the Midases, honestly. Like, I think there's no Midases in OG. The only one, the person who's making one is S4, and he's not there yet. Or I guess he just got enough gold for it right now. But the real issue, I think, again, is just the Naga factor. And while they do have some really good illusion clear, it's about maintaining map control, you know? Like, that's one of the most important things in Dota, is just being able to actually go to your lanes. Because look at No-Tail's micro right now. There are Naga illusions in every single lane. He cut the whole wave, restricts the map completely from Team Random. They're just looking around, 4 heroes or 5 heroes huddled under a tier 2 tower with like 10% life, and they're just going, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, we can't really push out. If the Naga Siren is on our side of the map, we're getting like asphyxiated almost. This is where it becomes very, very tricky.
Yeah, and you look at Radiant Vision, they do have some wards down around the map, but not really in locations that give them a lot of intel. You got one up here, the kind of top quadrant of the dire jungle, and then this lane ward down bottom, way down here. But all this space in the middle of the map, you know, where OG is farming, you know, maintaining map control, and Random have absolutely no idea, and they have to play in this kind of defensive posture. The worst thing they can do right now is split up and allow OG to pick them off. So they sort of pigeonholed into this less than efficient play, moving around as a big unit. There is a Manta style out on Shadow, so Medusa is definitely starting to come into her own. Also, Shadowblade
This build
on
is
the
a
bench.
little. This build is a little lackluster though in the damage department. That's the one problem with it. Like, he's going Manta into Scotty, and sure, you're gonna be a beast. You're gonna be really hard to kill. But who at that point on your team? I guess you're just relying on Blink to do like most of the heavy lifting when it comes to damage, and then
Jerax,
hoping.
nice stun. Sorry.
Yeah, it was nicely done. But I guess it's just Blink and the Finger of Death, and hoping that Fatal Bonds connects well. Like that's pretty much where the majority of their damage is going to come from. Blink, looking for something here.
Initiates onto the TA, but S4 ready and waiting. Dream Coil actually connects on 2. Locks Faith Beyond in place. Ana jumps forward, almost drops Faith Beyond. He's got a sliver of HP, but No-Tail just burns him away. Now the Ensnare locks the Venge in place. Defensive swap, but now the Song of the Siren from No-Tail. This is to kind of counteract the chaotic offering that has already come down. And it looks like Ice is going to get left behind. Ana able to 4-shot him at this stage. And with that, it will be a 3-0. And maybe even the Golem will go to EG for some extra, or OG rather, for some extra gold. And indeed it shall. They'll get the tier 2 to boot. That's the end of the outer towers. And speaking of map control, it is all OG here, Draskell. 16-8. They have broken this game wide open. Now about a 10K net worth lead.
There honestly hasn't really been too many moments in the game where I felt like, you know, Team Random had really brought any scare to OG at all. Like, okay, they drop a rock on Fly top to kill the tier 1. They drop a rock to go bottom, and the second rock in the bottom lane, it didn't get the tower. And then at that point, you're kind of just going, okay, well, already it's kind of becoming difficult for Ice. And Ana has played a phenomenal game. He's been everywhere he needs to be. He's getting the support pickoffs in the back every single time. He's pretty much making it an absolute nightmare for anyone on the side of Team Random who is, like, I guess not Blink or Shadow to be alive. He's just always in their face. Like, everybody on OG just seems to be playing just very, very crisp, solid Dota right now.
Absolutely. TA moving into the Bloodthorn. Of course, Orchid up first. But another great item. A lot of mobility now. Hurricane Pike and Blink Dagger. TA just in general still maintaining that massive farm. Just kind of a leg up on the game at large. LC does now have the Blade Mail, so that is one item TA will need to be careful of. You know, we've definitely seen big Blade Mail plays in the past, but Warlock slow and steady towards the Aghanims. I mean, the Midases are helping, no doubt about it. But is it going to be enough, Draskell? There's a Diffusal Blade now even up on the Monkey King. I mean, this support Monkey King is now starting to feel a little bit like a core almost. Up top, no tail, might get dueled. No! Song of the Siren comes out just in time. And he will slither away back to safety. The rest of OG did smoke up on the other side of the map. So maybe they can wrap around the backside, catch Random off guard. This is a weird dive. Lion going in really deep alongside Faith Beyond, but they're completely split. Now S4 comes in, he gets hexed up. They could still possibly turn this around, though. There's going to be another fight breaking out on the other side. Looks like Lion will get netted and probably bursted down. Let's check out the other side of it. Monkey King drops the ult, which drops the frames. They bring down the Venge right away, and Medusa channels the ultimate. Still Static Storm Kinetic Field comes down on top of the Wukong's command. Faith Beyond gets killed as well, and it is a bloody disaster here, Draskell. Random get ripped apart, splitting in that 2 and 3 pack. Did not go in their favor, and OG get a 4-for-0 exchange.
It's rough right now for Team Random, I think, is the only way I can describe this. Like, they didn't get the kill on Naga. Faith Beyond kind of bailed when the Lion was in there. Like, why went for a kill, he fingered. I think the Naga walked out with like 10% HP. If he had stayed there, probably would have gotten the kill. Jerax just like casually by the enemy team as well. No big deal. But yeah, this is just racks. That Medusa with, you know, Ultimate Orb Manta style Dragonlance and the Aquila, not tanky at all. Just literally exploded.
And also not that much damage. It feels like this build is just not doing enough of anything. Not really providing that much survivability, and also not providing her any kind of burst damage to catch people off guard. And as Stone Gaze right in the middle of the fight seemed like an alright Stone Gaze, but Fly was one step ahead with that Static Storm Kinetic Field, so she couldn't even really disengage once that defensive ult was used.
Yeah, it was like everything onto Blink, onto Shadow, and then he just kind of fell over.
Yep.
But it's like you said, the build is just not really doing any damage because he's relying on everyone else on his team to be damaged, and he wants to be the front line. He wants to be the focus of attention, and sometimes for a Medusa, that's okay. Because when everyone's going on you, then yeah, you get a lot out of your Stone Gaze because you have this, you know, Vengeful Spirit who's going to be dealing, what, like 50% bonus physical damage during the stun if for whatever reason OG don't start running away. So on paper, yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Then you got Fatal Bonds and like this overwhelming odds, and it seems like theoretically there's a lot of damage that can be dealt. The problem is that it requires very, very solid execution, and then, you know, the good initiation by Faith Beyond getting his Blink and his Blade Mail off in the duel.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened. Like, they're just not able to get the proper fights. And a lot of that, again, attributed to vision. I mean, OG can see pretty much everything on, you know, Team Random side of the map, whereas they have some defensive wards down, sure, Team Random, but it's not really been able to stem the bleeding.
No doubt about it, buddy. Team Random completely locked in their base right now. I mean, just look at the dire wards for a moment. They've got one. I don't know if I've ever seen this one before, but right outside of the fountain, behind the tier 4s. Getting some vision into the base.
When you do that, because he got spotted out by the Lion, usually when someone does that, you just expect that they're buying from your shop. Right?
Yeah.
So you place the ward because there's no way they're going to expect you to do that. It's like, why would there be a ward there?
Yeah.
But there is.
Not a very common D ward spot. Another smoke here from OG. Near the enemy shrine, they'll clear out the jungle. Take a look at dire vision. They do see a little bit. They've got something up on the plateau, so they get a glimpse of the Lion, also a glimpse of the LC. But it looks like they ping out the bottom lane, perhaps. An interesting smoke play from OG, maybe just baiting with Ana. Monkey King goes in, drops the Wukong's command. Maybe a little premature. It's a zoning command. Oh, but the golem, he baits it out this
God.
time, and he's still able to jump away. Oh my, Draskell.
Oh, this is horrible. Oh
This
my
is
God,
this is
so
almost
bad.
worst case scenario. 3. Fly's gonna set this up. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. It's gonna come out on 3, and it connects. This is the setup that OG were waiting for, and they will find it. Immediately, Blink says, all right, it's over. Let's call it. GG, well played. They get a couple of kills to clean up that fight, but OG just, beautiful execution in that final team fight. The photo finish.
Dude, I think literally everyone on OG just played super well. Like, I can't think of any of their players that didn't do pretty much exactly what they needed to do. That's the crazy thing. Like, normally, one person has a rough game, and then maybe the 4 other players have a good game. But it actually felt to me like everyone in OG literally had a good game. And when that happens, sometimes I feel like it might be down to the draft. And I'm looking, like, mainly at the Legion and how little impact Faith Beyond actually had. Like, this guy is one of the best offlaners in the world, in my opinion, and he just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, Jerax single-handedly ruined his game. And then I guess the Hasterin on Ana as well definitely helped. But yeah, I guess that's the weakness of Legion. When you have these supports that can't really babysit your offlane hero, because the Legion actually needs, 1 or 2 items before it really starts to become that scary. So maybe, OG showcasing how you can actually deal with this hero that's been, being picked quite a bit.
Yeah. Jerax Monkey King, it works wonders. 5-0 and 10, gave so much intel to the team, and actually did a fair bit of damage that game as well. And Ana, the big standout performance, 20,000 damage done in that relatively short match, 12-0 and 10. Definitely a standout performance on that TA, and we can't forget about that little extra plus 10 duel victory damage there. One of the highlights of that game for sure, being able to win that duel. So, with that said, folks, we're going to have a quick break, and then Game 2, this best-of-3 team random, X-Wings versus OG will continue. I'm Zyori, he's Draskell. Thank you for joining us. Stick around, because there's more Dota 2 coming your way after this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Team Random versus OG series. This is game number 2. Team Random not able to take a victory in game 1, which means OG is currently leading 1-0. If they can take a win here, it will be the 4th 2-0 series that Draskell and I have cast in a row. And I think at that point, Draskell, we will be officially the cursed casters for our 2-0 prowess. So fingers crossed, buddy. This is the one time I'm rooting for Team Random just so we can get into that game 3.
I mean, I always want to see a game 3 if it's two good teams, you know?
Yeah,
I just always want to see more games in general. So, yeah, just so people know, like, I've noticed this in the last 2 days we've been casting. Pretty much when they do the decision of who gets side and pick, it pretty much goes like this. They do the coin flip. Whoever wins literally always takes first pick. And then the side who doesn't win always takes Radiant. So if you see a team that's Radiant, you can guess that they didn't win the coin flip. That's basically how it works. So for now, like you were saying, OG coming in pretty strong into the second game after, I would say, pretty handedly beating Team Random in game 1. There were just a couple of little things that Team Random did wrong, but OG just always punished it so hard that there was not really anything that they could do to come back. I mean, it's funny to say, but when you see a Naga in a game, a lot of the time you look at the Naga and you think that's going to be like the most important hero. Honestly, No Tail could have been playing anything that game, and I think they would have just crushed it. That's like how much work the rest of his team was doing. Yeah,
I mean, Ana, again, had a standout performance. The TA had a lot of farm, put a lot of pressure on. He had Blink Dagger, Treads, Aquila, and Desolator by 18 minutes. Very impressive farm. Not something you see every day. But we will see a couple heroes banned out here. Earth Spirit and Treant taken out by Team Random. And OG actually going to be the ones to ban the Puck. And this time they will ban out the Vengeful Spirit, which Team Random did run last game. So Monkey King going to be the first pick again, but this time it'll go into the hands of Team Random themselves.
Yeah, I like it. It's not only taking it away from Jerax, but you know, I think having the one defensive support and one aggressive support combination has had a better track record for me personally, just because then, you know, we see how badly the offlane gets shut down. You just have these situations where, you know, last game, Faith Beyond couldn't get any items, playing that Legion Commander that the Chinese teams have loved so much, and OG just made it do nothing, like the whole game. So now, OG getting their hands on S4's Clockwork, one of his better heroes, I would say. Really good against Monkey King, actually. Can isolate the hero, can spot him out. You can't really trade against Clockwork either because of Battery Assault and like the eventual Blade Mail, so it's a nice direct answer to the Monkey King.
Yeah, I like it. Any kind of vision tools. You know, we talked about it last game. I guess you brought it up several times last game, just how much vision OG had between the Monkey King, between the Disruptor. It gave them a lot of possibilities. So we'll see what they do to complement the Clockwork. Still a lot of options here.
Yeah, I think it'll be a support of some kind. I'm just not entirely sure what support.
Yeah. We'll see if Team Random can utilize the Monkey King as well as Jerax did last game.
I actually like Phoenix. I know it's one of the heroes that Fly plays a lot. I think it's got good synergy with Clockwork. Oh, okay, it's going to be the Warlock. Okay, so it is a Fly hero, but the Warlock is definitely a solid choice as well.
Yep. We know him. We love him. Big team fight, great lane sustainability, and potentially big damage with Fatal Bonds if you can get it off, though. Easier said than done. At this point, teams seem to know how to play around the Warlock pretty effectively, and it's, all things considered, pretty rare to see more than 3 heroes hit by Fatal Bonds at once. But when you get those sweet moments when you can combo it just right, boy, is it nasty.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Because last game we had that Warlock played by, I think it was Y? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't, like, no matter what he did, he was either getting ran at by a TA with a Blink Dagger and a Deso, or he was in a Static Storm, or there was a monkey on him. Couldn't get the monkey off his back, man. Unfortunately, for, I guess, Fly this game, Monkey's going to be on the other side of the field this time.
Do you think Random are considering LC? It's a comfort pick. Of course, it got shut down hard last game, but you know, it's something we've seen very regularly.
Maybe they can pick it now because they can protect it. So what I would do is if you were going to pick Legion in this scenario, you would pick Legion and then you would ban out like Ricky, and you would ban out something else that Jerax can play that is super annoying, right? I mean, if if they were to take it in the first phase, that's how they would do it. But they're going to stick with the Crystal Maiden. It's something that a lot of teams are playing now, just overall really solid hero in general. It also opens up a lot of opportunities to pick a little bit, spam-centric heroes, because you got that Arcane Aura, or, yeah, it is called Arcane Aura. Okay, I actually had to double check. So, yeah, I think that
I still call
Team
it
Random
Brilliance.
have... Yeah, so do I. Like, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, wait, what's the Dota 2 name? Because I don't actually play the hero myself that often. But I do like the opening coming in here from Team Random. It's a bit more ambiguous. It gives them a lot of things that they can change into, and yeah, OG will ban the Legion. So I think it's totally about the dynamic of the first two heroes. If you pick something that is aggressive enough, then that means that the enemy team doesn't want to pick Legion anymore because it can be shut down. But if you have a defensive opener, and you can just ban out the other heroes that can shut down the Legion in the jungle in the second ban phase, then you can absolutely second pick it.
Right.
That's like the weird dynamic of how the hero works right now, because it feels like every time you first phase pick it and it's not protected, it just loses. But if you can get that really nice setup, then it has huge impact.
I'm interested to see a DK ban from Team Random. I know it is something that OG has played a little bit. It's a hero that does get snagged from time to time, but not one I'm accustomed to seeing banned out in the current meta.
Well, it's an Ana hero. It's something that facilitates 5-man Dota when they already have a Warlock.
That's
so I
true.
think they're just target banning Ana to force him into picking something, because they've already banned Storm too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Puck is gone, Storm is gone, DK, Invoker. You're kind of running out of mid heroes. And they showed last game that Team Random are perfectly okay putting Shadow mid. Doesn't have to be Blink.
Is this
So
the
they can
Alk
transition
game
into something else.
for OG? It was banned last game.
I think Elk's pretty good, but they haven't seen either core yet.
It's a little scary. Maybe you don't need to... If
Yeah.
you want the Alk, probably don't have to pick it here. Wait and see what they grab third, and then decide if you still want it with a fourth pick.
Yeah, I think OG are the type of team who would wait to pick Elk. I don't
Yeah.
think they would pick it now.
Fair point. Maybe looking at the second support here.
Why not just go like the tried and true Juggernaut for no-till? I mean, it's a hero he's played a ton.
Yeah.
Good for push, good sustain, good team fight. Very hard to just directly counter. I think it leaves their draft pretty wide open still.
And a hero that can deal with Crystal Maiden, no problem. That magic immunity goes a long way in the laning phase.
Yeah, they're taking their time though. Thinking it through, just making sure that they're not leaving themselves susceptible to anything.
What's left for Jerax? So Earth Spirit's banned. Monkey King's been snagged.
Good question. What is
Ricky?
left for Jerax? Yeah, I think... Now that I think about it, yeah, his hero pool actually might even be smaller right now than the mid, because of how many of those heroes have been banned out.
Ooh.
Okay, it is the Ana hero. SF it is.
All right.
So that's their push. So
Also
now they
banned
have something
last
that
game.
can hit towers. Yeah, second phase ban last game.
Yeah.
That's correct.
All right. I like it. Talk about tried and true. Comfort zone for Ana for sure. And Warlock, definitely a nice defensive support to pair with that. If the lane gets tough, you can just kind of sit back, stack the jungle for him, and then just pop into lane and give him heals with Shadow Ward. So it's a great support to complement the Shadow Fiend that doesn't have to leech XP and can still provide a lot of utility.
The big thing is he's going to crush the mid no matter what it is, because he's going to have Clockwork Cogs. So he's going to have like anywhere from 8 to 10 souls, and he's going to walk to lane and he's just going to kill it. Like, it's going to be so hard to deal with.
What do you think about that mechanic? Do you think that should be kind of like a bug and fixed?
I don't think it's a bug. I mean, I have a hard time believing that robots have souls, but at the same time, a lot of things in Dota don't necessarily have to make sense, That's why Sir Action Slacks is allowed to exist. Doesn't have to make sense. It's just there. So, I do think it's a little bit cheesy, but hey, if it wins you the game, by whatever means necessary,
Yeah. No, absolutely. I don't fault teams that do it. We used to see similar shenanigans like Venom Wards and stuff like that. So it's not that outlandish. It's just a strange mechanic that we've seen time and time again now, where it's not really a surprise. And there also isn't a big drawback to picking, Clockwork and Shadow Fiend on the same team. They can work very well together. But alas, I digress here. Third pick, Bat Rider for Team Random. So some nice initiation there. Most likely they're off laner. And now Abaddon picked up for OG.
Interesting. I'm actually thinking something like Morph now for OG. There is like nothing that they have on Morph at the moment on Team Random.
So
And with the heroes that OG have, I mean, sure, it's a bit farm hungry, I think, to pick a Morph. But at the same time, you got really good heroes at the lane of the game, too. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
so this is a Jerax Abaddon then. Well, there you go.
Oh, they took it.
Speak of the
Bastards.
devil. Still a good
So I guess
pick
it
for
goes
Team
both
Random.
ways, right?
Yeah.
OG actually don't have anything to deal with it either, now that I think about it.
Pretty
So-
light on lockdown. No
All right,
silence.
Now, this is the call of calls, okay? This is where they YOLO the anti-mage. Or it gets banned.
Okay,
5 seconds remaining.
I could see it.
It's like a 50-50 matchup against the Morph. It's something that's, I think, pretty hard for them to deal with. But at the same time, they also play Naga. So I guess maybe the Morphling was maybe a little bit of an ode to they were scared of Naga, because Morphling technically is okay against it. You can replicate the Naga. You can do your own like kind of split pushing thing. You can burst really hard to kill the hero in general. It's just a very, very nice pick.
So this is definitely Jerax Abaddon, though, right? Like position 4 Abaddon. Is there any chance it's a position 4
believe so.
Clockwork? I don't know if Jerax plays that. You know, I remember like the old Escape Squad used to play that. The Yapzor roaming Clockwork. Just kind of throwing it out there. I don't know that it's particularly likely, but food for thought.
God, I guess either is plausible,
Yeah,
but I really think that
5 seconds.
they probably just duel offlane no matter what happens anyway. Just depends
Yeah.
on who's going to be getting the farm.
true.
And I guess in that case, probably Abaddon holds the farm better. But at the same time, like you said, I don't know if Jerax plays Clock. The guy's amazing, so he probably does have a Clockwork. I just don't know
Yeah.
if it's as good as S4's Clockwork.
Right. We'll see. Now Lena, 5th pick for Team Random. Great matchup against Shadow Fiend. At least you have some burst damage. Combos very nicely with stuff like Crystal Maiden, Monkey King. And they take the Kunkka.
What?
Oh, my. So
that's Jerax's hero, which means that it's...
Is this a
safe
no-tail
lane
Abaddon?
Abba?
Safe lane Abaddon. All right.
What's happening, Zyori?
I'm in. I like it. Curse of Avernus, baby. Let's go.
Wow. Okay, so if it is what I think it is, then it feels questionable, because the normal safe lane Abaddon build is to go for the Radiance.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't actually think that's good against Morphling.
What about...
Because he just...
What is the build against Morphling if it's safe lane Abaddon? Is there any way it's a safe lane Kunkka? Could it be a Big Daddy Kunkka?
I wouldn't completely rule it out, because I've learned over the course of, 6 years casting Dota that every time you think 100% that you're right, you're always wrong. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'm going to wait to see what happens, and then I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, because I've been burned one too many times by my own hubris.
Mask of Madness Basher on a core Abaddon?
Oh, God. Please tell me you've never done that.
Well, Mask of Madness has been changed, but I think Abaddon is one of those heroes that really hates silence more than a lot of other cores that might consider buying Mask of Madness right now. So that build is a little different than it used to be, perhaps.
Well, what you could do is you could, obviously shield yourself, and then you run in, and you pretty much ulti and then Mask of Madness, so that way you're healing for, more, because you have less armor, and, whatever, just punching people.
Okay.
But yeah, it is
All
going to
right.
be a safe lane Abaddon. So what I assume is they're going to go for more of, a mid-game timing, and they're going to go for, the Solar Crest Vlad's build, where they just really try to beef up their tower-hitting hero, or their front line, and then they just go for the sieges, and then, getting the Solar Crest will help secure the Roshan easier, and they're actually kind of, I feel, on the clock this game. Game 1 Team Random were fighting against the Naga, and they were trying to establish some good map control and win the game before No Tail came online. This time I think it's more about Team Random being the ones who you need to stop. Because if you just give him a free lane and Shadow gets farm, the Lina is a great matchup against the Shadow Fiend as well.
Yeah.
It can get a little tricky.
Yeah, you never want to sleep on a Morphling. And we've seen a lot of off-lane sacrificing and free-farming Morphling. Give him 15, 20 minutes alone. We saw it yesterday, how devastating that hero can be. So I definitely agree with you. The Jerax Kunkka, though, it's not a hero we see too often, but one that has a lot of power. Last match we talked about gotcha, right? Kunkka, the master of gotcha. X marks the spot, 1,000 range, pull you back, great on allies. OG definitely have options here, and I think they have the right tools to be aggressive. If I were a betting man, I would put some confidence in this Clockwork Abaddon.
Well, considering the Shadow Fiend is starting with 17 souls, I'd say that his lane might not be so hard.
You know, I didn't know that 17 was possible. I mean, that is a lot.
They are extremely good at doing it. I almost guarantee you they've practiced that in a lobby.
Oh, no doubt.
Because they instantly attack the same cog, and it's always the very top cog, and then they go clockwise. So as long as you know that's the order, you can get as many as you want. A lot of teams do it as kind of like a cheese, but they don't actually practice it. So when they get into a game, they get like half the value. OG literally got the maximum amount that you can get, I think. Like maybe you can get 18, but damn, that was close. It does also mean, though, that he sacrificed the level 1 bounty rune. Gave it to his offlaner.
That's true. Yeah, I usually see...
he gave it to... I think he gave it to Jerax. I don't remember.
No Tail and Jerax grabbed him, yep. But yeah, I usually see about 9 souls on Shadow Fiend when I see this more commonly. Down bottom, Fly actually taking some damage here, but he's got the Shadow Ward. He'll heal himself back up. After taking a few love taps there from Ice. Still very curious what build No Tail goes for this game. Also worth mentioning that Shadow is in the off lane. They're doing some aggro action here on the side of random with the Monkey King and Crystal Maiden keeping him company. So it is a 3-on-2, trying to put some pressure on this Abaddon.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough lane to deal with, even for a hero like Abba, who is normally very tanky. Like, he might even be in trouble. It's almost... Yeah, he's got the Jingu proc now. He's going to have to just walk all the way around. He is going to be suffering in this lane.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. Stray Clarity. Oh, wait, it's a Monkey King.
Yeah, that ain't a melee hero.
Fly. Taking a lot of damage here. That Jingu Mastery. Man, does it hurt. Ice is doing so much work right now, Draskell. This is actually
He's giving
ridiculous.
him the run at.
And No Tail has no choice but to kind of retreat here. Meanwhile, mid, Lina getting low. Jerax and Ana, they find it. That's a Shadow Raise for the win. And Shadow Fiend already had a great start with the souls, and now he finds a First Blood on top of that. Amazing start for him as he lucks into a double damage rune at 2 minutes. Honestly, I don't think it gets much too much better than that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the dream start. Top lane, though, S4.
Faith Beyond in a little bit of trouble, but he's got Firefly for a little bit longer. S4 getting kind of aggressive here. Doesn't have too much time left on the battery assault. As we're watching this, there will be a counter kill mid onto Ana, and Blink will pay with his life. So they'll go 1 for 1. And no kill up top. So sorry about that one, folks. Thought that Bat Rider might die. So I guess that helps the Lina, at least breaking up some of the souls of the Shadow Fiend. Takes him back down to 10. So that's pretty good. But unfortunately, the Lina
He's gonna
dies
get him
again.
like all back right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it worth it?
8 CS. I mean, sure, in the situation where you get jumped because you get hit by a stray torrent, getting the counter kill is the best possible play.
Yeah.
S4
Down
could
bottom.
be dying here as well.
Yeah, locked in place by the Frostbite, but damage not quite there. Shadow doesn't want to lose his mana, so they just finish off the cogs instead. This time Lina has to walk back to the mid lane.
That's the most painful thing, man. When you die as a mid player and you TP back and then you die again, and you're just like, TP's not even off cooldown. He might die again.
Here we go. Jerax on the Kunkka, unrelenting torrent into X. Ana connects with another raise, and that'll be one last auto attack to secure the kill. Lina dies for a third time. Shadow Fiend 1, 1, and 2. Been involved in every single kill. All about this mid lane.
They need to, like, stop this dual off lane. Like, switch back up to normal lanes, put the Bat bottom, put Shadow top, and help this freaking Lina. Like, it is brutal right now. Almost level 5 on the Shadow Fiend. I mean, sure, the Lina is not really a full level behind yet, but you gotta remember, like, Lina, you kind of want to be playing from ahead.
Yeah.
He's got 9 CS in 4 minutes. Like, this is 20 and 26. Obviously, there are cogs in there, but still, 9 CS.
Yeah.
He needs help.
This is brutal. And now Ana is just a level up on him. He can spam out the raises, and it just has more sustainability, a lot more to work with. Coming back to the bottom lane, S4 drops some cogs to break it up. It's now a safe lane try for OG. And Random will pull a rotation. No Tails move to the off lane, and Ice continues to put pressure on. Connects with the Boundless Strike. Primal Spring may connect here, and this looks like it's going to be a kill for Random. Monkey King just doing too much damage as now Jerax rotates in. Beautiful torrent onto Faith Beyond. Finds the counter kill, and maybe even two. Ice trying to go blow for blow. He gets the Jingu Mastery, but it's not enough. Jerax just hits too hard, and he cleans it up. Still ends up well for OG, even when Random can find a kill on this Abaddon.
I think he's actually been in, every single kill. Jerax has been in every single kill for OG, so 5 kills in 5 minutes. They killed Alina 3 times. He goes top, gets a double kill by counter ganking the heroes that were diving his Abaddon. Like, this is super good start. They could be setting something up here on Ana, though.
Yep.
3 heroes.
Frozen, Primal Spring, follow-up LSA, it's there. Now the Boundless Strike, Ana will die. Jerax, can he find the counter kill, though? Brings down Ice easily. Not ideal for OG this time. It's a good rotation from Random. Meanwhile, up top, Faith Beyond gets a solo kill on the Abaddon without lasso.
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure how that happened. He must have... Oh, his TP was down. So he must have, like, TP'd back to lane. Oh, God, again. There's just action everywhere.
X again onto the Lina, pulls him back. The Frostbite does slow down Ana, but one more raise. Oh, the raindrops. Lina will survive, but if he can get in range for this auto attack, he will find the kill. Jerax almost goes down, 40 HP. Crystal Maiden really wants this, but I don't think she's going to be able to find it. Phase Boot's already up on Jerax. He's just too fast. The Nova's off the mark, and she falls again. 7-4, it's OG. Still maintaining this lead. Oh, no, actually not. It's Random out farming them. This whole time, Morphling's just been farming away. Number 1 on net worth. But this is turning into a core Kunkka here. Look at his farm.
He's super farmed. I mean, Jerax is playing a great game.
S4.
Bottom as well?
Well, S4 is probably going to go down here. Beautiful cogs, knocks back Shadow, but they've got this vision advantage as Ice jumps back down, and S4 almost finds a counter kill. Actually, a close call is now Jerax, the man of the hour. X, Torrent, he's going to have a combo here, and of course it's a counter kill onto Shadow. Ice will survive. He's going to jump around the trees to stay safe. The Kunkka that doesn't stop. 4-0-4.
Yeah, I haven't really had chance to analyze anything. They're just literally fighting nonstop, which I'm okay with, don't get me wrong. There was, in the river, actually, he could have killed Alina again. He tried to cleave off the CM illusions, which would have hit, but he accidentally canceled his auto attack. But unfortunately, for Y...
Oh, is this a hasted Jerax? No, he's just fast. He's got phase boots. Chases down the CM. I mean... He's making it look easy. He's making Kunkka look like a completely broken hero right now. Could you imagine if this was the first game of Dota you ever watched? You'd be like, dude, who's that pirate? He looks like the best hero in the game. Why doesn't everybody play the pirate?
He's OP. Let's go.
5-0-4 in 8 minutes as a support. Why kill creeps when you can kill heroes?
This has just evolved into like an all-mid game or like all-fight game.
Hook shot onto the Lina. LSA does connect, but there's a torrent from outside, and that'll be yet another kill. Ana rotates over to get it. Lasso onto Kunkka. Jerax will take a decent amount of damage, but he's got phase boots. He just walks out of it, turns, drops the X, but might hang around a bit too long. Ice jumps forward. Ana actually just goes for the TP home, and he'll make it. This could be the end of Jerax's streak. Oov, not going to be enough damage. They have no way to close the gap. Shrine not going to be up for 25 seconds, but he does have some reinforcements. Monkey King still in hot pursuit. He wants it, and he finds it. That'll be a 5x streak finished off, and Ice, I think he lives here. They have no way to clear out these trees to finish him off.
Melee hero. That's all I'm going to say. Melee hero. Hits him from like 450 range. Like, what? Oh, God. Yeah, but Blink still really suffering here. Level 8 in the Shadow Fiend versus the... I guess he's almost level 7, but...
Still not great.
Ice still stuck behind enemy lines.
Yeah,
maybe
no
he wants
TP.
To get a ward down?
I wonder where he wants to ward. Is the plateau too obvious? Maybe try to cut the lane. They do have a sentry down here. He needs to be careful. Oh, no.
Ana didn't see it. He wasn't looking.
They'll still probably find it,
though.
though.
Now he pings it.
Plenty of time left on this sentry. They'll give it over to Jerax. That's unfortunate. Well, You win some, you lose some. And they scout
Oh
him
god,
out.
they spotted him.
They know. They catch the X into Torrent, but he still
What?
springs away. What in the world? I didn't know you could do that.
Radiant's top tower.
I think he just timed it like perfectly for when the X brought him back.
What a hero. Ice taunting him a little bit here after that sick play. Drops the Boundless Strike. Jerax, he's got X in 1, but misses the Torrent, and we'll just back up. No Tail died while
in the
we were
meantime-
watching that, but sorry, No Tail.
Wait, he
Didn't
he
ha-
died with his ult off cooldown?
S4 misses the hook shots, unfortunately. Yeah, it looks like it. How does this keep happening?
I'd have to watch the replay. I didn't actually see how he died.
Yeah.
I'm assuming his ult couldn't have been up, right? Like, it had to have been popped from a much earlier point in time,
Yeah.
and he must have been killed that way.
It just came off cooldown in the grave. Yep, very likely. Well, a lot of action. This is definitely the most high-octane game that you and I have cast. And still, it's random that are finding the better of the farm. One hero we have not talked about much. It's the Morphling. But he is still farming away. Perseverance, Brown Boots, Aquila at 11 minutes. He'll just go right for the Perseverance.
Yeah, like you were mentioning earlier, the crazy thing about this game is that even as many kills as there have from the side of OG, they're actually still not farming as well. Still behind in experience and gold overall. 3-man smoke here coming in from Team Random.
Monkey King still not level 6, and also no Blink Dagger on Bat Rider, but he did pick up the Drum of Endurance. So a little extra movement speed, has some initiation power alongside the team. OG clumped up in the mid here. Are they going to smoke up themselves? Thinking about it, Jerax just pulled it out of the backpack. They might just press forward mid instead. Meanwhile, down bottom, initiation onto S4. Faith Beyond kind of grabs him here, but hook shot out of the cogs. Now the lasso, boat flies across. S4 buys himself a little bit of time, but it's not enough. It was a 3-on-2, and OG just don't have the resources, but now Ana's here. They bring down Ice. That'll make it a 1-for-1. Faith Beyond, TP's home. Jerax does not have mana for the spells.
Tower is under attack.
No way to stop it. Meanwhile, Shadow up top finishes off the Tier 1 tower and finds his level 10.
This is like a very hard game to keep track of because just so many fights at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
There's a couple of heroes who are like super over-leveled comparative to what you would expect. Like, Fly's level 7 already. I mean, he's actually higher level than Jerax, which I guess kind of makes sense if you think about it from a... He's probably like pulling and getting a little bit more farm from that perspective. But yeah, now that the Golem is up, so I'm kind of expecting OG to maybe adopt more of a full team fight kind of approach. Because again, they do want to keep creating these chaotic situations. They just want to make sure that they're always coming out on top and abusing that cooldown. Torrent gonna miss here.
Faith Beyond still in pretty deep. Doesn't really have much in the way of reinforcements. Monkey King is coming, but he still does not have the ultimate. And OG actually will just break it off. Ana goes back to farming instead of trying to pursue. Bat Rider lives. Very deep wards from Team Random right now. Plateau, right outside of the pole camp there. Good eyes on the
Nice
enemy.
hook.
Here we go. Mid lane. It'll be a nice pick on the Crystal Maiden. S4 sets it up.
Alright, should be a tower, I think.
Yeah.
I guess the CM is up really soon.
Tower is under attack.
Still a lot of damage on the tier 1. They do have a glyph. There's still an option to make a hold. Torrent just barely off the mark on the Lina. Faith Beyond on the back line. He does have a lasso. He might look to initiate here. They drop the stun onto Ana to start things off. Primal Spring connects on a few. And this Shadow Fiend in a lot of trouble. Wukong's command comes out. They lose Ana. S4 doing some decent return damage to Ice, and they will actually bring him down. No Tail uses the borrowed time as Freezing Field from the CM comes out. They'll burst down No Tail, and it's a 1-for-2. Not a great fight for OG, and it's not done yet. S4 on the run. Shadow chasing him down. Will secure the kill. Make it a 1-for-3. Team Random taking control.
They lost the SF way too fast. Like, the coordination coming out from Team Random was really solid. They get the Q from the Monkey King, the Boundless Strike. They hit him, they stun him. He leaps in straight away, throws out the Wukong's command. They land a Light Strike Array on top of that, drop the Laguna Blade. And I think Fly hesitated too many times on his ult, because he was like cancel casting, trying to get it like perfect to make sure that they get the counter initiation.
Yeah.
But by that point, there was no saving Ana. Like, he was already way too low. They will be able to just walk back up though and get the tower after the fact. but
Well, that's
they
nice.
do lose the fight.
Yeah, and a haste rune for Ana here. Just right into the Dragon Lance. So pretty tanky Shadow Fiend, but that far forward, they've got a lot of tools to initiate. The Boundless Strike into Lasso. The Bat Rider, pretty speedy with that Drum of Endurance. And after the success of that fight, he's getting close to the Blink Dagger. 1,600 gold. So something else that OG will have to keep in the back of their minds will be coming online pretty soon. And Lena, man, she has really recovered. She's died a lot of times, but now 4-4-1, number 3 overall on net worth, only 600 or so behind that of the Shadow Fiend. Very solid recovery, all things considered.
Alena does have really solid spam, and he's going the patented Bloodstone build, so he's got the Soul Ring and the Arcanes for just, non-stop Light Strike Array, spam the Dragon Slave, get your creeps, get your recovery going. And because he lived through a lot of the engagements, like the big ones, the one we just saw mid, he's able to kind of accrue that experience that he didn't get mid because he was dying so much. And it's also going to be a finish Linken's here on Shadow, so, Team Random actually getting a lot of what they need and being able to just get to that point in the game where they're feeling very hard to fight into already.
Absolutely. Midas up on the Abaddon, so No Tail in it for the long haul and not really in a position to fight at the moment. Not particularly tanky. They'll just hand over that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane as Shadow finishes it off. Andy, what do you think about this level 10 Lena talent? Cast range versus LSA. I feel like I've seen cast range mostly. Honestly, a little bit surprised to see the extra damage on the stun.
Well, the main reason that you want to take damage is for when you're farming. Because without the extra LSA damage, you don't one-shot creep waves with your combo. You need to hit the melee creeps once and then hit them again. But the melee creeps will just instantly die to the combo if you get that talent. So when you're going Bloodstone, it makes all the sense in the world. Because before, you used to have to choose between that and respawn time. And then no one got the damage because respawn time was OP. So yeah, now it's all about the farm game.
Okay, cool. I like that. Good to know that that's the break point that makes it worth it. No Tail looking for Solar Crest out next. His team pushes that tier 1 tower up top. Meanwhile, Faith Beyond dies behind the tower. Laguna Blade comes out, but there's the borrowed time. Wukong's command as well. Ana again taking so much damage. It's blasted down, but it's Fly with a huge ult in return. They kill both the supports on the Dire. Faith Beyond in very deep, secures the kill on S4, but it could cost him everything. Hangs on to the lasso, actually brings down No Tail. It's Fly and Jerax, the last 2 survivors. Trying to put as much damage as they can into Shadow, but Lena's got a full mana pool, and she's going to come back in. This could be kind of scary. They do a lot of damage to the Golem, trying to finish off this Bat Rider. He'll look to TP home, but Fly gets the kill. Jerax on the other side. Boat comes across, but not there in time to delay his death. It's another good fight for Random, though OG do get a little bit out of it. TP home from Lena will be successful. It's a 3-for-4 overall, 400 net worth gain for Team Random.
That was a crazy fight, man.
Yeah.
Like, Faith Beyond was in there. He just, behind enemy lines, gets hookshot, doesn't care, keeps going in, farther, farther, farther. One of the last heroes to actually drop in the team fight. The Golem was pretty solid. Actually gets the full duration, too. It's going to kind of fizzle out here. And I guess Fly is going to be pretty happy with that exchange because that is pretty much a full Midas. Like, he just got rich from that team fight. So that's kind of like the hidden value out of that team fight for OG is their Warlock is now going to be like accelerated into his Refresher Aghanims, which is really where you want to be. But at the same time, Ana is like, he went from having an amazing start to kind of struggling now. He's 2 levels behind Alena. Well, I guess a level and a half to be more accurate, but he really, really needs BKB. Like, originally he was going to go for the SNY, but he's just getting bursted so hard by magical damage in the fights that he's changed his itemization. Originally he didn't want to buy this item, but feels like he needs it.
Absolutely. It's never ideal. He's going to feel, I think, underwhelming in the damage department before too long with just Dragon Lance and BKB, especially if he upgrades the Lance just right into a Hurricane Pike. It's 2 kind of more defensive utility type items. So, yeah, tough game for Ana. I mean, he's been a little bit forward with his positioning, and now that he's fallen behind, it's just going to get harder. Also, checking in on the Morphling, that burst damage can become a reality. He's got the Boots of Travel now secured, and it's going to be that E-Blade on the horizon next for Shadow. So, even more incentive for Ana to pick up that BKB sooner rather than later.
The BKB is going to be an integral point in the game, though, for OG, because if they don't make anything big out of the fresh BKB, and like having these chaotic offerings being dropped, it's going to get real tough real fast. Because that Morphling, we saw how tanky Shadow is. He was sitting there pretty much the entire fight, even walked back in after most of his team was pretty much dead.
Yeah.
And just kept fighting, kept fighting, kept fighting. And, obviously the last two heroes being Jerax and Fly alive at that last team fight, they can't kill a Morphling. It's just not happening. So they need somebody who can actually kill the Morph. And I'm just kind of questioning who is that? Like, what hero can kill Morphling on this team right now?
Yeah, I don't know. Jerax has an armlet. He is transitioning into a little bit more of a right clicker. They will break the Lincolns, but replicate other side of the map. Morphling will jump to it and dodge the gank. Also transition that into a tier 1 tower push. They'll grab an objective. Lasso all the while. Jumps onto the clockwork, and S4 in a lot of trouble. He does have a Force Staff, but it won't be enough to save him. His team will try to take the tier 1 down bottom. They force out the glyph, and they will finish off the tower, but unfortunate for this clockwork. He is lowest on the team. This is basically a position 5 clockwork right now. Brutal.
Yeah, I mean, they first picked the hero. When you first pick a clock, you kind of have to expect that it's going to not be a good clockwork game. The only reliable targets he can hookshot are like the Lina and the Crystal Maiden, I guess. And the Vision game against the Monkey King, like, I get all that, but it's still very hard to make the hero function, I think, against this type of lineup that Team Random has. Because there's so much like area control and area damage where you're just going in as this clockwork and you're just dying. Like, there's Dragon Slays, Waveforms, Fire on the Ground, Flame Break, Light Strike Array, Crystal Nova, Freezing Field. Like, every one on the side of Team Random does some kind of AoE damage. So Clockwork can't really isolate as well as he wants.
Right. Tier 2 for Tier 2. Top lane, Morphling able to finish it off, and OG do commit. Ana finds the last hit there. He does have the BKB in tow, still the 10-second charge, ready to rock and roll, and goes right back for that SNY queued up.
I really think that OG won a Roche right now. It's kind of tough against and the Monkey King as well, but they got the Solar Crest completed on the Abaddon, and he's got full Curse of Avernus. So with the Shadow Fiend minus armor and the Solar Crest, they can actually kill it pretty quick. It's just going to be a matter of, can they establish the map control to get it? Because if they don't get Roche, it's going to be real hard for them to get to a point in the game where they're going to feel confident, I think.
S4 looking for the opening. Hook shot onto the Lina, but she's got a Shadow Blade, and they are lacking detection. A missed opportunity there. They do have a Sentry Ward. Looks like Fly's going to head up and drop it. But he gets lassoed, pulled in. Laguna, they bring him down. Fly will be the first casualty of this fight. No Tail. Maybe gets left behind. Wukong's command pump faked. Still has it available. X comes out onto the Bat Rider. That'll push him back. OG in full retreat mode. Ana, BKB, looking for the Requiem. Does connect on most of the Dire. Wukong's command comes out. They'll bring down the Crystal Maiden. Ice on the low ground. Will survive through it. Not the most amazing debut of that 10-second BKB charge. And now Ana, without magic immunity, will get initiated on. Random trying to follow up. Morphling joins the party, but nice cogs from S4 in the choke point. Breaks things up. Ice comes in looking to finish off the kill, but he gets finished off himself. Ana with another Shadow Raise. Faith Beyond, Force Staff. He gets into the front lines, brings down Ana. No Tail, does not have the ult. He's running out of resources. OG just getting picked off one at a time. S4 is still very low. Force Staff's up to the high ground. And I think that'll be the end of it. OG finally make it back to their base, but they lose a lot along the way.
Money to burn.
Hello? Did I lose you, Andy?
Oh, am I there? Hello?
There we go.
Okay, weird. I guess my mic came unplugged there for a second. But yeah, the whole fight was... I think it's showcasing how strong Bat Rider is against these kind of lineups where you have like a ton of melee heroes. The Abaddon can really only shield every couple of seconds. Everyone else is just covered in like sticky napalm. And you can just bait out so many spells. And Borrowed Time has to be used at some point to be able to, either get rid of the debuffs or cast some spells on your teammates. They're going to go for the Roche fight though.
Yeah, hookshot in on his Shadow. Roche is very low. S4 eats the Laguna Blade, but the Golem connects on most of the Dire squad. Roche dies to the Radiant, but it gets snatched by Faith Beyond. The boat is what finally finished off Roche. Now BKB, the 9-second charge used by Ana. They want to try to finish off the Bat Rider, but they can't do it. They lose Fly. Jerax in the front line will not be able to survive. And it's another rather disastrous fight for OG. Primal Spring does connect on No Tail. His ult on cooldown, but can they actually pursue to grab this? Flame Break bops him to the side. They're going to have Jingu Mastery in a second. LSA connects, and this should be a dead Abaddon if they can just get in position for the remaining right clicks. Maybe even more. Ana Still not totally in the clear. Ice, well, he's just in a little bit too far. Gonna end up handing over a freebie. Aegis does get utilized. Faith Beyond comes back to life. Pretty much the only thing that goes the way of OG there is they get the last hit on Roche. So they get some extra gold that way, but the follow-up, disastrous.
Well, they got the last hit on the Roshan, and they took the Aegis away as well. So.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of it, it wasn't, like, ideal by any stretch, but, you know, they'll take what they can get. The Aegis not being on Shadow, for example, or I guess you would probably just want to put it on Blink if you could. That means they probably could have gone high ground a little bit earlier, but it's already kind of at that stage in the game where you're looking at this and you're like, man, it is going to be so damn hard to deal with this Morph. And I think he's just about to murder Jerax. He's got a DD. Looks like he's going to be scouted out here. Jerax is going to just go ahead and retreat. But yeah, it's rough at the moment.
Jerax going for the pipe. That'll help a little bit. Is there any way they can itemize to try to deal with the Morphling? I mean, look towards something to break
the Glimmer
Lincolns
is up.
Yeah, Glimmer. Say like Bloodthorn or something to be able to just lock him down and kill him. Monkey King gets caught. Jerax with the X Torrent. Do they have the follow-up, though? Ice on the run. Jerax with that low cooldown X pulls him back again, and they do have the right clicks to actually finish him off.
Yeah, every pick is super important for OG at the moment. I think the Glimmer is a step in the right direction because it's a defensive item that's going to help Ana. Even after BKBing, you know, there's not really a whole heck of a lot that he can do. He throws out the Requiem, and then it's like, okay, well, I don't do enough right-click damage yet to really be that much of a threat to the cores, so I kind of need to rely on the rest of my teammates to follow things up, and we need a good rock S4.
Lina actually catches him with that LSA. Laguna to follow up,
Yeah,
and the auto attacks are there. The sniper rifle, Miss Lina inverse. BKB on the way for her also.
God, he is just going ham this game. 3 levels higher than the SF even. Oh my god, they're going to find No Tail again.
Yep, has the borrowed time, of course. Blink in Hot Pursuit does not have Laguna Blade for 27, so they're a little bit light on burst damage, but Faith Beyond does have a lasso. And that's it. They won't go for it.
Now you can tell, though, just by the posturing that, you know, OG are feeling the pressure. Faith Beyond's got that gem. They're dewarding. There's only one thing of vision up on the side of OG currently, and that's on the other side of the map where, I mean, I guess it's a pretty good ward, but at the same time, you're not really going to get control of your jungle back, I think, anytime soon. I'm just kind of wondering if there's like a big item that OG can pick up that's actually going to be able to turn the game, because right now it just feels like Team Random has this stranglehold on the map. And now there's a BKB on Blink? My lord. Alright, this is getting real hairy.
Yeah. BKB about to be delivered. I mean, Bloodthorn is the only item that comes to mind for me. If they can break the Morph Lincolns and Bloodthorn him.
It's not even, that's not even a thing. Like,
yeah.
He's going to have BKB by the time the Bloodthorn is even close to being accomplished. Because Bloodthorn is like 7,000 some odd gold, and then...
Yeah, it's super expensive. I mean, Shadow Fiend has Lincolns
they got the
queued
X.
up. Alright, this is pretty nice if they can get a kill on Faith Beyond. Force Staff down as S4 hook shots in. Very awkward positioning as he gets caught on the cliff. Kind of unfortunate, but they still get the kill. Crystal Maiden very low, but moves around through the trees and will live. So, nice pick off. But yeah, Lincoln Sphere coming out on the Shadow Fiend, another defensive item.
I mean, he has to stay alive. That's definitely true. By the way, very clutch pickup there from Y. He got the gem off Faith Beyond as he died. Like, Ana pinged it as it hit the ground, but I don't think the rest of OG either noticed fast enough, but the bat was their gem carrier, and they didn't recover the gem. It would have been a much, much bigger win if they could have gotten that for themselves and, you know, walk around, deward their side of the map, maybe get a little bit of breathing room, but
yeah,
Team Random not allowing themselves to fall prey to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and of course, the E-Blade now out on the Morphling. And he'll be moving towards BKB next. Farming boat used here in the mid lane. Still have not seen that 10-second charge from the Lina either. No fresh magic immunity with Shiva's Guard on the way.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, Lincoln Shadow Fiend after SNY and Dragonlance. I'm really concerned about their damage output. I mean, I know there's like the synergy of, okay, Kunkka Boat with Fatal Bonds, the Tidebringer, the Shadow Fiend Requiem, like all that stuff on paper sounds great. But both cores on Team Random have BKBs. Like, you need to right-click for damage. Lots and lots and lots of damage. and I'm just
Yeah, they
having
don't
a
have
really
it.
hard time. Like,
Well.
it's not even just the fact that he doesn't have it. It's how many inventory slots do you have?
Double damage rune. Step in the right direction. Hoping Shadow will walk up to the high ground, but will not fall for it, and has a replicate down anyhow, so not an easy target to try to kill. Does a lot of return damage to No Tail. Forces out the borrowed time right away. Sentry Ward comes down. But No Tail very low on HP. They catch Faith Beyond. Bat Rider getting low, but LSA buys him some time. Does not keep him alive, however. Couple of pronged attacks coming out here as Shadow on the back line. Almost finishes off Jerax.
Nice.
They drop the Golem. They bring down Lina, and she uses the BKB charge. That's pretty huge.
It's the gem as well.
Okay, so 2 for nil. Gem down. And 1 less second of BKB they'll have to worry about. Yeah, that's a decent victory. Roshan, not even close to up. That's a little bit unfortunate for the OG squad, but...
That was as good as it gets, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
outside of Roche not being up. If Roche was up, that would have been, like, the absolute perfect fight. Kind of went for the scramble, going for the gem when Faith Beyond died. And then, you know, Blink puts himself in a very, very dangerous position and just ends up getting picked off, so... Very nicely done from OG. Oh,
Uh-oh.
God, his fort.
Oh my, that's the shotgun, baby. Load him up and knock him down. Lincoln's gets broken. Now Faith Beyond jumps forward. Does have a lasso here. No Tail takes the E-Blade burst. That'll be the borrowed time. And again, it's Ana that gets grabbed by the lasso. Wukong's command doing a lot of damage. They destroy Fly. Ana just TPs out. And OG kind of cut their losses. They lose 3, so... Still pretty devastating, and I think Shadow Fiend did also BKB for that. Yeah, that was his 8-second charge. So that also hurts. We'll be on cooldown now for another 50 seconds.
Just wanting a little bit too much out of the team fight win, I think. And Random, again, just punishing them so hard. This Morphling pick, my goodness. This hero is doing so much work this game. There's just no answer.
Uh-oh. Jerax walks forward, trying to X himself back to safety, but it's too much
Wow.
damage. They just kill him. No buyback on the Kunkka. Oh,
Can you
no.
not X when you're frostbitten?
Apparently not.
I don't actually... He might have still been stunned by the LSA, to be honest. I'm just, like, kind of thinking out loud. But, yeah, really, really nice chain crowd control there coming in from Team Random. That's a free melee Rex. They
Yeah.
kill the Kunkka, they just get out. Roshan's going to be up soon. The timings that Team
Shrines.
Random are hitting right now are perfect. Like, they're going to get the Shrine, they're going to get Roche, and then... What's the Golem timing? So 30 seconds, give or take. If OG contests this Roshan and fails, I think it might just be GG.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that way. 24-27, maybe feels like it should be more even, but it's a 15,000 gold difference. And as we've said time and time again here, there's just no answer to this Morphling. 8-1 and 8. I wouldn't be surprised if Shadow doesn't die again this game. He's got BKB and Lincoln's. Still a 10-second BKB. Scotty or Manta coming out next. I mean, he's pretty big.
Yeah, this is... Ooh, this is a rough one. I think, honestly, it really boils down to the fact that the Clockwork has just had such a hard time really being able to do what he wanted to do. There's just not really that much that he can accomplish in these fights. He's just getting wrecked like every single time he walks forward.
But Andy,
they're
look at
always
this.
getting... I mean, they're going for the Roche, but they know. Like, Team Random definitely know.
Oh my, they jump right in. Lasso grabs Ana straight up, but the rock comes down. They actually focus at BKB, pop by Lina. They do kill Crystal Maiden first. Shadow relatively low on HP. It looks like a good fight for OG. Roche does get finished off by the Dire, but Ice grabs the Aegis. It's just snatch. Now Ana, caught by the Laguna, will survive as he gets Glimmer caped away. Ice loses the Aegis. Shadow still getting pretty low, but survives. They kill the Shadow Fiend. Clockwork's still alive, but a few more right clicks will bring him down, and OG get completely cleaned up. Looked like they had a window there, but all 5 hit the deck, and Random beeline it towards the Radiant base.
Ice, God. He goes in, he gets the last hit on Roche against a Shadow Fiend, and he gets the Aegis. Like... Oh my God, that was brutal to watch. Monkey King is going to be banned game 3.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No doubt. 100% win rate this series, and an amazing performance, really, in both games. Glyph comes out. There are 2 buybacks available for OG, the Abaddon and the Shadow Fiend, so this game might not be over yet. But the tier 4s go down, and it's looking pretty likely that Random will be able to end it here. Ana buys back, gets lassoed immediately, X'd back, BKBs. Random finish off the tier 4s, and with the next buyback, they will start to retreat. Hook shot out from S4. X onto Faith Beyond. But S4 just dies first. They destroy the Clockwork. The Cogs do push back the Bat Rider. He falls, and they get the gem back, so OG get a little something out of it. But they did have to use a couple of buybacks. Not great.
Economical damage.
Yeah.
And they're going to get the... They could get the Shrine on the way out. Maybe they're a bit hesitant. They're going to see a hero show top. Maybe they change their mind. Yeah, there we go. Our boy Blink's going to hit it down. Still, though, really solid performance out of Team Random, especially after the kind of thwomping that OG handed him in game number 1. It's very impressive to see a team bounce back like this. So, hey, man. First full 3-game series for us to cast. Well,
Absolutely.
maybe I'm saying a little bit too soon, but I'm excited at the aspect of getting to watch the teams again.
Yeah, I mean, a little greedy from Random to try to go for the win. They get the tier 4s, so they do still get a lot of net worth out of it. But as we pointed out, the buybacks just cripple OG further, and we're now up to nearly a 30k net worth and experience difference. Butterfly on the way for Ana. So evasion will help. I don't think there's any MKBs on the enemy side. Nope.
The only one I think who would make one would be Lina, and I think Blink's going for Daedalus, yeah. He's got the Demon Edge and the Crystallis, so he's going for the big pew-pew.
Straight damage. Yeah, he decided to skip the Shivas, actually. Just picked up the plate mail for some extra armor and went right into the right click.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for MKB, because they already had a Solar Crest. I don't think Morphling is a good MKB carrier at all. You pretty much just want stats.
Right.
But Lina can actually buy MKB, because you have such huge attack range. You sit in the back, you hit through the Solar Crest, you hit through the Butterfly coming out as well onto Ana. Or maybe he just didn't see the Eagle Song yet. I'm not sure. Either one is plausible, I suppose, at this point.
Well,
but yeah, looks
Jerax
like
has
Team Random.
Rapier queued up, so they're in Hail Mary mode.
I mean, he's got... Wait.
He's got
I was
pipe.
gonna say I was looking at the
gold.
courier for a second because he had no money, and I was like, did he actually just buy Rapier? How does he have that much money? And then I realized that he actually only has 400 gold.
Yep, he's busted. So long-range siege here. Lina just destroys the tower. Shadow now moves up to the high ground. BKB still ready to be used. There is no glyph for OG, so not an easy defense here. Wukong's command gets deployed. BKBs get popped as Ana starts off the fight. Nice golem comes down from Fly, Ice, even with the BKB on, still taking a lot of damage, but the Shadow Fiend rendered completely ineffective. Laguna'd and just destroyed as now No Tail presses forward, gets dropped as well, and that'll be it. They'll call it. Final fight's a quick 3-0, and we are moving to an ace match game 3.
Really well played from Team Random. Again, bouncing back from the game 1, pretty one-sided in favor of OG. This time, I really felt like S4 and No Tail really struggled. Like they put a lot of emphasis on getting Ana, the souls in the beginning of the game, and then he's up against a Lina, and it's like those souls, they do help, but at the same time, even after killing Blink, he still ends up dying when they go for the 2v1 on the second kill. So then Blink's like, okay, well, at least I got a trade. Then he gets like 3 more kills after that, and they just keep focusing everything on the Shadow Fiend, because the way the OG have drafted, he's kind of like the solo core. Lina loves playing against one core hero. So does Bat. Bat and Lina just both go, oh, if we just kill the Shadow Fiend, the fight's over. So they just kill the Shadow Fiend every single fight, and then there's nothing else to follow it up. And because OG's initiation isn't as like... I would say it's not as punishing, because they can't pull a hero out of position. They can just hook in, and that's it. So
Right.
yeah, I think that Team Random had a really good idea this game. The Bat Rider crushed the Abaddon at every stage in the game. S4 couldn't find anything, and then everyone else kind of fell under the pressure.
Yeah. Tough game for OG. It also felt like Abaddon just kind of rendered ineffective. Really tough game for No Tail after those initial lane rotations. So this is it, folks. The final cast for Draskell and I. We're going to have a quick break and then get into Game 3 of OG and Team Random. Stick around, because there is more Dota 2 coming your way.
Seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
All right, folks, welcome back. It's OG versus Team Random. We're here in game number 3. This is the decider in this best of 3 series. OG looking very strong in game number 1, a commanding performance. Game 2, they switched it up a little bit with the picks. We saw a Jerax Kunkka. We saw a no-tail Abaddon. And in the end, it did not work out so well, and Team Random was able to bring us here to Game 3. I'm Zyori, joined again by Draskell. This is our final cast of the Kiev Major. Draskell, it feels like we just started, but here we are, going to end our casting series with a Treant Protector first pick. I like it.
Can't complain. Got to see well, I think we saw him once yesterday, right? It was like one yesterday and then one today.
Yeah.
So out of all the games we cast, which I guess is 9, right? Because we had 2 2-0s and this will be a 3 game. So yeah, 9 games total, 2 trees. And not really shocked to see the Monkey Kings banned. Was kind of expecting that after the first game. Very different heroes being picked, actually, from the first and second game so far. Not a single one of these has actually been seen in the entire series.
Yeah. Ember Spirit Dazzle. Well, Ember, great against Treant, not in terms of pushing towers, but just in general team fights against the living armor. A lot of damage over time, cuts right through it.
The Dazzle is the more interesting one to me.
Yeah.
Ember is a super strong hero, and I feel like has been for a really long time, but I'm looking at Dazzle, and I'm thinking to myself, the first thing is like Illusion Hero and or minus armor strat. Those are the ideas that immediately come to mind. So sometimes Naga, sometimes, you would actually like Shadow Fiend or Slardar, another hero, Venge, which Team Random and a lot of the other teams at the Major so far have been picking a lot. But it's a very different direction, and it is Team Random. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how they follow it up.
Naga Siren. Well, a classic for OG. Go back to the Illusion Carry. All right.
That is a nightmarish combo of heroes, actually. So you have one hero who keeps towers alive, pretty good lane presence, gets across the map relatively quick as well with the passive. Then you have another hero who pushes out lanes forever. Like, pushes out lanes to a point where you might not get to see that tower again until it's full HP.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit worrisome playing into that particular hero combination. And that's not even including the fact that, what if Tree gets Aghanims as well? Then it's like complete and utter map dominance, right? Like you're just killing everything on the map all the time. It's very scary to think about.
I like this third ban, though. Team Random, take out the Enigma. Something that OG do play in the off lane. Combos very nicely with that Naga Siren. Good team fighter.
Well, Fly
Smart
and
ban
No
here.
Tail play it, right? They both do?
I think so, yeah. That's a fair point.
5 seconds.
I guess they could jungle it. I shouldn't say they only offlane it, but it's a bit of a flex pick. Also, isn't Naga pretty good against Ember? Just the ensnare, lock him in place so you can't remnant away when you're locked in the ensnare. Correct? Isn't that a recent change?
It's a root, and roots make it so you can't use any movement abilities. So yeah, it's tricky though because hitting the net on the Ember is tough because it has a travel time. So he can like sleight of fist, remnant away, or whatever.
That's true. It's a pretty easy projectile to dodge. Yeah.
If it does land, it's devastating for sure because it's a very long one too. I think it's like 5 seconds. Yeah, 5 second disable.
Right.
So.
All right. I like it. Timbersaw, third ban now from OG, a hero we have. I think it's the first time we've seen him touched, banned, picked, thought of.
It's a good anti-illusion hero, and it's also very good against tree. So, if you want a safe lane Naga to succeed, in the lane, Timber is also good against Naga. He can clear the illusion, split push very well. There's already an Ember that they have to deal with. So it's pretty much an all-around great hero against both of the heroes that OG currently have at the moment. The Bristle ban is a little bit... I know he's been picked a handful of times.
So,
I think...
Do you think they just banned that out thinking, well, Timbersaw is the hero we would want to pick to counter Bristleback? With Timber out, Bristle could be kind of scary. You know, Ember, not a high armor hero. I guess Dazzle has Weave that kind of counteracts the AoE physical from Bristleback, but...
I mean, to a degree, yes, but at the same time, I think it's the hero that Ana plays, and they already have no Tails hero. So I'm guessing they just did the thing they did in Game 2 where they were like second phase banning, you know, some Ana heroes, and I guess they just wanted to get rid of the Enigma because they know that they have a defensive support, no reliable, like, super easy black hole cancel, and it's also a hero that farms a ton in addition to OG already having two relatively greedy heroes. I guess that would be like the primary line of reasoning, but okay.
Well, great against illusions.
Is this the first ES? I want to check. I don't actually know if ES has been picked.
Look it up,
I kind of
man.
feel like he has.
There's been a lot of games, so it's not that unreasonable that he's been picked up at least once, maybe twice. But definitely not a popular pick. Again, they'll grab the Disruptor to combo with the Naga. Easy setup. Even just illusions being kind of a mobile ward, to overuse that term a little bit. Set up for glimpses on the Disruptor, all that kind of stuff. Just a lot of good AoE team fight now across these three heroes. And another way to handle the Earthshaker.
Yeah, this is the combo they crushed with in the first game. The Disruptor Naga Siren. It can be really, really good. Big difference, though, is that they don't have... I guess the tree kind of acts like a vision hero, but it's not quite as good as Monkey King because the Monkey King pretty much has flying vision while he's in trees, whereas the Treant Protector doesn't.
Yeah, so this might be a little too greedy, but what about Axe for OG? Great against Dazzle. You've got a lot of good setup for him between Disruptor and Snare, even just Leech Seed for him to close the gap. Also pretty good against Ember.
You know, I don't mind that at all, to be honest, because you can put it in the off lane, you can armor him. You know, we see a Dazzle and an ES. Maybe, you know, potentially the ES is in the off lane. But, you know, so far, it doesn't seem like the off lane's going to be particularly hard. And again, double defensive heroes means they can't really contest his jungle. So, yeah, I don't see any reason why not. It's definitely a hero that S4 likes.
All right, Troll Warlord now.
OG's turn to pick.
An interesting choice. Ensures some late game for Team Random, no doubt. Does pair nicely
Needed
with
a
Dazzle.
tower hitter.
Yeah, nice Sieger too. My only complaint is their team doesn't really benefit from Battle Trance all that much. Not that that's a necessity to make Troll work. He stands on his own without it, but not a particularly large amount of synergy that I'm seeing here, just across these four heroes.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering as well. The only thing that I can potentially see is it's very hard for Troll in some games when the enemy team has a lot of single target lockdown and can keep you in place long enough to burst you. Like, think of when we were watching the EG game earlier, right? They managed to like burst down Arteezy a few times, and you called it, man.
There it is.
Axe brings the axe. Yeah, it's a really solid hero in this situation.
Yeah. Also, it's good against Troll too. Good lockdown for him. Get a blade mail, not too bad.
Oh, trust me, I have discussed at length how gross Blink Blade Mail Axe is. Like, for the net worth, it is hard to find a hero that can deal more damage to a core than an Axe can.
That's
like
fair.
that hero is super, super strong.
Reserve time.
Pure damage, baby.
So now,
it's a nice change.
I'm looking at Team Random and I'm thinking, you know, what's your last hero? Is it a Faith Beyond Shaker? Or are they gonna pick something else for him at the end here?
That would be interesting. Position 3 Shaker.
10 seconds.
I have not seen that in a while. The little bits that I've seen Earthshaker picked up, it's mostly just been in either a 5 or kind of a roaming 4 role.
OG's
I have
turn
not
to
seen the
bat.
3.
They banned Lena.
Well,
So
it's a good high tempo mid. I think Invoker could be a nice 5th pick for OG now.
10 seconds remaining.
yeah,
Again,
but
a
if
little
Team
greedy.
Random bet,
5 seconds.
I don't know. I think they want something.
Reserved.
Yeah, Invoker's actually okay.
It is a bit greedy, but it just combos nicely with, I mean, Sunstrikes all day. You've got so many ways to set that up.
Yeah, you get the
Magnus-
Kinetic Field Static Storm, and there's Overgrowth actually as well.
Yeah.
So you can like Overgrowth into a Meteor Deafening or whatever. It's a really strong combo.
Magnus
And
is
plus-
also still in.
You mean for G?
Well,
Or you mean for Team Random?
I was thinking... Well, I was thinking OG might want to ban the Magnus here. More just commenting that he's made it all the way in, and we saw him first picked with some priority earlier. I mean, it could be okay
Yeah.
for OG. I don't know that it's great here. I like Invoker a lot better for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Mag is much more likely for Team Random if they were going to be the ones to pick it. I think
Yeah.
Faith Beyond can play it.
I mean, Troll
And they
Mag
can just
is
have
always
like their
scary.
Shaker Dazzle support. Yeah, so OG think that is a support duo, the Shaker Dazzle, because they banned Bat. So it is going to be a Faith Beyond last pick. So what are they going to get for Ana? Invoker is still a good option.
If not Invoker, what else is there?
OD.
10
OD,
seconds
yeah. Another big team fight ult. The Aura, very handy for the 5-man.
5 seconds remaining.
It is something that Ana likes to play. It's a pretty good matchup against Ember as well, and a very good against
Reserve
Troll.
time.
Because if the actually, it's good against Dazzle too. Because what happens is if a hero gets graved, you banish them 1 second after the grave, and they always die 100%. But it is going to be the Invoker. Okay, so
All right. 2 for 2,
the
baby.
Wombo combo, you nailed it, dude.
This is a sick draft, though. They've got a little bit of everything. Good setup, good team fight, and whoa, here's the curveball. Team Random live up to the name. They 5th pick the Broodmother.
This is going to be
Don't they have a pretty good team against Brood? Like Axe, notoriously pretty good. I think Invoker.
no.
No?
Let me
Is-
let me
oh,
help
break
you
it down.
out, 'cause
Hit- hit me
this
with
is
it.
a huge misconception.
Okay.
That Axe really owns Brood. In the lane, if the Brood is good, the Brood will win every single time. And I would expect, I'm guessing it's Faith Beyond playing it. I would expect him to know the matchup quite well. So the trick is when you're playing against Axe, that if you're going to skill spiders, you pretty much farm the woods, or you farm behind the tower, or you just don't skill it at all, and you get your passive and your web, and when you get level 6, you just hit the Axe. Because your lifesteal from Insatiable Hunger will be more damage than Axe can ever do to you without the help of your own creep wave attacking him, and then you just kill him. So what I think is more likely is that they will just do normal lanes for OG. The tree or the disruptor will carry dust at level 1, and they will just kill the Brood because Leech Seed plus Orb of Venom and a kinetic field is just dead. Like he'll just get smushed. So I'm wondering if that's the combo though, because at the same time they have Dazzle. So if they go Spider into Shadow Wave, it can also be something that is pretty devastating, right?
Yeah.
It's a really off the wall draft from Team Random. Their name kind of indicative of what their draft actually is.
Yeah, dude.
But it's really, really out of left field.
That's crazy. So, Troll Warlord. I like it with the Brood. At least there is some combo power now where, sometimes you see heroes sneak away where Brood just doesn't quite have enough damage. And I think Battle Trance can be that difference maker in certain situations. So, high expectations here. Game 3, folks. Very exciting. Andy, I'm pumped. I haven't cast a Brood game in quite a while. High expectations for Faith Beyond, indeed.
I mean, I think it's still going to be tough. Like, what if Jerax and Fly just go to that lane and just murder him? Like, Jerax already has 2 sentries. So, I'm kind of looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, how much is Faith Beyond going to get? Because whenever you have a Brood on the team, it can either be a boon or it can be a liability.
Yeah.
And most of the time, there's no in-between. It's either you have a super good Brood or a Brood that just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I've even seen games where a team can shut down Brood, but the cost can add up so much that it's totally worth it. It's a hero that often you need sentries and dust. One or the other isn't sufficient. I think Disruptor maybe changes that a little bit because of kinetic field. You can't just run over the trees, but still, that investment can be quite large. So even if you kill him a couple or 3 or 4 times in lane even, Brood's a hero that can recover and still just soak up your jungle so quickly when your team fighting or pushing elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I'm really gonna have my eye on the Brood, as it were, to see, how he deals with this. But for the moment, it seems like OG are actually gonna dodge, and they're gonna put it in the 1v1.
Yep.
So they've given S4 like a ton of regen, or I guess he just buys a ton of regen on his own. And I guess what probably happens is both heroes just creep cut.
Is this a first blood? Dazzle's in a lot of trouble. They've got the damage. He skills up heal instead of grave. They've got another ensnare from the Naga Siren, and now this Ember Spirit, he's also in trouble. It's a twofer.
Jesus.
It's a BOGO. Buy one, get one bottom lane, Draskell.
That is definitely not what you want. And I don't think they were expecting this lane setup either. I think they were kind of hoping that it would just be standard lanes, but it does mean that Shadow is going to get the matchup in the middle lane with the Troll, so a lot better of a matchup, I think, than putting the Invoker against Ember, because again, Tornado can just dispel the Flame Guard whenever. But at the same time, it puts Blink in kind of a sacrificial role, because if they keep this tri-lane down here, it doesn't even matter if the Brood wins his lane at that point. It's more just like a matter of, okay, our Ember is going to get totally shut down, he's going to be under-leveled and under-farmed. Whereas the Naga, I think, has a little bit more flexibility, because the Ember is the one who has to kind of dictate the mid-game tempo. He's kind of their biggest damage hero and their initiator.
Right. Oh, down bottom. Stun onto No Tail. Getting kind of low here, but Glimpse back will keep them alive. Blink doing a lot of damage with this Flame Guard, but now it expires, and it's the Dazzle that's in trouble. He's still only level 1. Jerax winning this boxing match, but he can't quite finish him off. He will go down instead. And it's actually a kill the other way. Team Random, they survive through it, and Dazzle will sustain back up. He's got a couple of tangos here, so he should be good.
And maybe he thought that he wasn't actually going to be able to get the last hit. I don't know, that was weird. Like, he had the Orb of Venom on him. He was, like, running him down. He had the Windlace as well. Or I guess maybe he bought that after he died. Yeah, I think he bought it after he died. So maybe he was just unsure if he could get the last auto attack off and then just, like, bailed. Ends up getting himself killed. It's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. So for now, though, this is pretty good for S4, right? At least in these earlier levels. He can kind of bully this lane. He can at least farm, pull aggro on the creeps, and contest the neutrals, as we're seeing here. Looking at the CS difference, Brood is winning, but by pretty small margins. So, even if Faith Beyond gets farm, S4 is guaranteed to at least get an okay laning phase. Better than the jungle.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if Faith Beyond is super comfortable in this matchup. But I guess time will tell.
What makes you say that? Is he feeding spiders or something?
No. He hasn't fed any spiders, but in the first few waves, it is the hardest part of the matchup, I think, for Brood. But as you get more levels and more spiders, actually hold that thought. Out of middle lane.
Oh, and also down bottom, they're looking to fight. Ana eats the Fairy Fire, almost survives, but Shadow does finish him off. The tower, not quite enough. Now back down bottom. And a little too slow. The Ember Spirit will fall. So 1 for 1 across the map. Both teams losing some cores.
Here we go. Okay, so this is what I was expecting out of the lane. So the Brood has to start to ignore the Axe, because you can't just contest them on the creep wave, right? So you just get your spawn spiderlings going, you hit the creeps, you just farm, he farms, and eventually, you get 6, and then he has to either TP out or he needs help.
Right. Okay. Well, still a couple levels to go here. Down bottom, initiation onto the Ember Spirit again, only level 2, but Dazzle's here. He does have the Shallow Grave. He pops it out. That'll buy Blink a little bit of time, but I think he's still dead here. No Tail just waiting it out. 2 more auto attacks, and they'll find it. Jerax now getting low. Dazzle almost brings him down. Ice does not have the damage with the stun, but it is Y that's able to finish him off. Now Fly heading back towards the tower. No Tail out of mana. That's where it will end. The 1 for 1. But core for support, I think OG will take it.
I mean, the thing about this lane is the Ember is still technically farming a little bit better than No Tail, but he's also died 3 times, and No Tail has 2 kills. So, regardless of how much CS you're getting in the situation, I don't know if Random can afford to keep this lane down here. I think it was almost to a degree better when they sent Ice to the middle lane and they got the kill on the Invoker. You just have to be a little bit more on point with your communication, because when you show the Earthshaker, of course, if there's a tri-lane bottom, they're going to run at your safe lane hero. Like, you got to communicate that, okay, we're going on the Invoker, you got to back. Otherwise, you're just going to get punched by a freaking tree and die.
Mid lane going very well for the Troll. 28 last hits compared to the 10 of the Invoker. Huge margins there. Of course, dying does set him back quite a bit, but Troll absolutely dominating at this point. Up top, S4 going to get sandwiched a little bit here. Faith Beyond on the way in. Dazzle does not have Poison Touch, so no way to slow him down. However, Earthshaker does have a stun. Going to be a close call here. The heal bomb from Dazzle, not going to be enough. Meanwhile, down bottom, Blink dies again. The aggro try from OG gets yet another kill.
And that's even after wasting all that time. Again, it's just about, the support shows somewhere else on the map. OG kills Blink. Happens every single time. Unfortunately, he hasn't really been able to play far enough back to avoid those situations, but for the time being, he's just getting brutalized now. I mean, sure, mid is going super well for Team Random, but Invoker is kind of one of those heroes that can recover. He can go to the jungle, throw out stun strikes across the map like you were talking about, lots of stuns, things that hold you in place, and he can contribute. The Ember actually has to physically be in the fight, and then he also has to be farming at the same time. So it's a lot harder for him to make that comeback than it is for Ana.
That's true. One of the other aspects about the Ember Spirit as well is to do damage, he has to be in the front line. So if he's not higher level, if he doesn't have an item advantage, it's just easier to say, okay, he's not intimidating, we're just going to turn and right-click him instead. And that's when Ember really feels like he can't get a lot done. Now JerAx down bottom takes some damage from Ice Ice, but No Tail is nearby. We'll just head back to the tower and everything will be just fine. Meanwhile, in the jungle, JerAx scouts Blink rotating over. And they won't have the resources to go for a kill. Ana farming the jungle now, opening up for Fly to soak up some XP in the mid lane. This is something that you see OG do pretty commonly. Give space to the supports any time that the jungle's being utilized by another core.
Well, it makes sense in this case because, Ana was already struggling anyway. To be honest, farming the jungle when he's losing mid this badly is probably better. Because that way, like you mentioned, Fly is at least getting something out of it. And even though he's not going to be hitting creeps, he wouldn't be hitting creeps anyway. So getting that 6, obviously going to be really nice for him if they can manage to do it. But he is making his way towards the top lane. Maybe a little bit worried about S4.
Dazzle now level 4. He picks up that Poison Touch. And how's the Brood Mama doing? Pretty close to level 6 and has the Phase Boots. And
Blink actually gets a return kill. Nice.
Yep.
On No Tail of all heroes.
Missed that one. Sorry, gang. Sleepy time here. I need to wake up.
Come on, it's only 4 a.m. You've
Yeah,
had longer nights than this.
It's really not that bad. Tunnel vision.
Yeah, so for the moment, Shadow is definitely the glimmer of hope here for Team Random. And I suppose, Faith Beyond, he's getting his farm. S4 is getting farm as well. He's just got a lot of denies. Like, he's been able to pretty much get every single deny on the creep wave, because you never really want to walk into the axe to go for the CS. That's why it's so important for the Brood to be creep cutting, because you don't want the axe to be able to drag your creep wave with him on top of where you're farming. That's like the worst case scenario for him.
Yeah.
And then the middle lane, Fly still soaking up some EXP. And JerAx is pretty much doing the same. I guess Blink has made the transition into Iron Talon. It's pretty common when you're getting shut down really hard in lane to do this.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that you can, farm the jungle kind of effectively as the supports have kind of dissipated and are just kind of trying to be effective, get some levels, maybe get some arcane boots if you can, either Ice Ice or Y. But yeah, things pretty quiet at the moment.
Yeah, started as kind of a bloodbath, and now things really quieting down. Looks like S4 will go for the Vanguard first. Great choice against the Brood instead of just rushing Blink. Lets you be a little more aggressive and just spam out those right clicks. Pull creep aggro anytime you want. Also lets you farm in the jungle really quickly. It's a great farming tool for Axe.
Yeah, I used to see this a lot too when to be able to stack every minute. It feels like ages ago that you could do that.
I know,
But
right?
you used to buy Vanguard and then one of your supports would quad or quintuple stack the Ancients and you would just get 1,000 gold.
And JerAx solo down bottom on the tree, just about to be level 5. And finally we're seeing Team Random put pressure on this tier 1 tower. Ice Ice, level 5 on the Earthshaker, so pretty close to that point in the game where Ultimate's about to come out on some of these supports. Might open up some team fight potential.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, the ultimate on the Earthshaker is not really a huge deal. He only has 1 point into Aftershock. They are going to go for a smoke, though. So they're going to go for the gank onto Ana again.
Yeah, Earthshaker amazing in these kind of scenarios to try to block him out. But Tornado connects on 2. Very nicely done. Still Shadow able to close the gap. And the follow-up Fissure is more than enough. Shadow gets another kill, furthering his net worth lead. Almost doubling that of the Invoker. Like 80% up on him. This is one of the most one-sided mid matchups I think we've seen yet so far, Andy.
It's really hard for Invoker, I think, in this matchup. And also he's been ganked twice, so that's definitely not helping the cause.
Yeah, certainly not. Overall, what are we looking at here? It's random with about a 1,200 net worth lead. A small experience edge for OG. I think some of that because No Tail's been spending so much time in the jungle. Oops. Working towards the Radiance. Only 1,200 gold, so still a ways to go, but he's keeping up. Naga, middle of the pack. You know, he's on pace for a reasonably timed Radiance.
Yeah, S4 has actually done way better in this matchup than I was expecting. I don't know... Oh, man. His spiders are getting murdered, too. I guess they have the sentry down, so they're able to reliably get calls on it. Like, Faith Beyond's actually been pretty good about not feeding his spiders in the lane, but he has been kind of bullied a bit, more so than I would have expected. But I guess he just didn't want to risk pulling heroes up here, because if that happens, then it's really, really difficult for him. He's going to have the Insatiable Hunger.
Yep.
Not going to dive, though.
Thought they weren't were going to commit for it. Meanwhile, they kill the Earthshaker down bottom. Just a 2-on-1. Looks like they just caught him out of position. Disruptor is now level 6, though, so he's got Static Storm online, ready to rock and roll. They really can't kill this Axe, man. The Vanguard is huge. He's already halfway towards the Blink Dagger. Looking at Vanguard.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Vanguard,
go ahead.
You don't need Tranquils anymore.
Yeah.
So you can just keep the Vanguard and then go for different pair of boots.
What do you like on Axe? What's the go-to boot now?
I think Phase is really good. When you have Phase and you have Battle Hunger on somebody, you're like crazy fast. The other option is obviously just save for bots if you have like a really good game.
Yeah, it's true. Bots are never bad. Rotation up top. Maybe looking for something on the Brood. Jerax does have 4 dust. He is prepared. They do catch Faith Beyond, but now they need some way to lock him down. Glimpse. They'll lock him in place, and the Sunstrike, nice follow-up. They'll actually give it to Ana. So important for this Invoker to get some of these recovery kills. It's actually great for OG. Now Dazzle, he's lingering around. Fly drops the kinetic field. They'll press forward. It's a 3-on-1. He does not have mana for Grave, though he does have a TP. Y actually trying to finish off Fly, but will not be enough. Axe finishing off all those spiders as well. S4 getting a lot of money there. Meanwhile, No Tail, Song of the Siren. Delays things, gets to the shrine, heals up. And Shadow Ice will just retreat.
Well, this has been pretty lackluster Brute performance so far, unfortunately, for Faith Beyond. He's not really had much of an impact. He is going for the recovery Midas, I guess. It's going to be like a 14 or a 15-minute Midas. And in the meantime, S4 has almost got a Blink and a Vanguard. So this pick has not paid dividends at all for Team Random. And it's going to put a lot of pressure, especially on the Troll, for example, and the Ember Spirit, because the Blink and the Vanguard combination is going to come out so fast. It just means that he's going to be able to get his Blade Mail on top of that. Right now, OG are feeling like pretty confident, I would say, with their laning phase, considering even though No Tail didn't have like a great lane, he's still, you know, 2,200 gold on top of Arcanes at 13 minutes in. That's a perfectly respectable time, considering the fact that they pretty much sacked him. So, I'm having a hard time seeing the value in the Brood at the moment.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm really impressed by the Invoker, though. The recovery that you're talking about has now become a reality. The Hand of Midas is up. He's farming away in the jungle. Oh, Sunstrike. I heard it somewhere. I don't know where it went, though. Either way.
I couldn't find it either, actually.
Number 2 on net worth. It's really not too bad. Still pretty far behind the Troll. But that's okay. Rotation mid now from 3. Set up onto Fly. Big follow-up damage. Even the Echo Slam. But they will find a clean kill.
Yeah, these teams are not holding anything. They just always use their spells straight away to ensure the kill. And I think most of the time it's the right play. You know, again, level 1 Earthshaker ulti, when You only have one aftershock. Doesn't really. It's just a little bit of damage, you know. It's like a bonus nuke. It's not really holding anybody in place.
Right. Up top, a little damage on this tier 1 tower. Treant's starting to heal it up, but they're going to need more than that if they actually want to keep it alive. There is a glyph available, and S4 just lets it go.
Is under attack.
He misclicked because he called, but he didn't blink.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he was trying to like call in and blink the spiders after the glyph. But
Maybe
couldn't
one of
get
the
it.
baby spiders hit him or something. Here we go, Shadow
Oh,
in
this
the
is
Roche
nice,
pit.
though.
Yeah, very smart play.
Oh no!
Set up onto Brood. Yeah, that's going to be a Sunstrike kill. Ana gets another one. This Roche going to help out Random quite a bit. Ice trying to make some space for it.
Dire's bottom
He might just have to sacrifice his life. It's a 3-on-1, and they'll bring him down. S4 dunks him. No, he doesn't dunk him, actually. I heard the sound effect, but I think he just got the spins.
No, he dunked him.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Comes off cooldown. I'm such an idiot. What am I thinking? But now Roche is available for the taking. This is actually a disaster for Random here, Draskell.
Yeah, this is super bad.
This is terrible. I thought the Troll could actually do it, but they lost the Medallion.
Well, maybe
Song
go
of
for
the
a steal.
Siren.
Oh no, they're gonna song to secure it.
Sunstrike.
Yeah, this is a good thing.
Very well done. No Tail picks up the Aegis. Now they're going to take the fight. S4 jumps forward, jumps on the Ember Spirit. Follow-up damage from Ana. They haven't found any kills yet. Fissure kind of breaks up the fight as now S4 on the defensive. Might get brought down here. Blink rejoins the party. They pick up 2 on the way out. It's not so clean for OG after all. Random get a couple of cleanup kills. It's about 1,000 net worth. Not too bad.
Yeah, it actually looked like it was going to be going a lot better, to be honest, with that kind of follow-up after the song. But I guess because they use a Sunstrike to actually kill Roshan, which I don't know if it was a completely necessary thing to do, because they had the song for a couple more seconds anyway. If they had the Sunstrike for when the Static Storm was up, it would have guaranteed killed the Ember, or, you know, whichever hero they cast it on, and then it probably would have been less likely that, you know, Team Random would have been able to turn that around. So a bit of a mistake there, committing the Sunstrike when it wasn't needed. Or maybe the mistake was committing to the fight after he didn't have spells or mana. Either way.
Yeah.
You know, Team Random managed to walk away with something. And they still have, you know, 3 of the 5 top net worth heroes. So.
And still great for the Naga at the end of it. Picks up the Aegis of the Immortal right at this delicate time where about to grab Relic but still don't have the Radiance. So allows No Tail to very safely farm. You know, doesn't really have to worry about getting ganked. Guess not a huge threat right now anyhow, but just a free insurance policy. Blade Mail on the way for Axe.
Yeah, that's a super nice thing. He's just going to skip completing the boots. I like this a lot. I think that completing boots on some heroes, especially like Blink Initiators, is not really necessary. Like, you get more value out of being closer to your next big purchase, like a Blade Mail, which Axe wants pretty much 100% of his games. And then later on, when you're like super inflated net worth because you have so many kills, then you can just go back for something like Boots of Travel, which is what I kind of expect that's going to happen this game.
Quite likely. Ember Spirit forced into an alternative build. BOTs into Yule's Scepter. I don't think ever a build you really want to go for in an ideal scenario.
Yule's is like... It used to be very common, and then it kind of fell out of favor, and he needed this game more than anything for a Dispel and a way to stop himself from taking damage in Static Storm.
Right.
Those are the only 2 like redeeming qualities, I guess, other than being able to cancel a TP after you cast Searing Chains.
Yeah, it's a good
But it's
survivability
definitely,
tool.
It is, but at the same time, if you Yule's yourself, you're setting yourself up for a Sunstrike, you're setting yourself
Yeah.
up for a potential kinetic field, or a Blink Call, or an Overgrowth, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, Yule's as a defensive item is very bad. It's pretty much only good if the enemy team has like 1 way to kill you. And OG have
fair.
multiple.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
It's just the best of a bad situation. That's the thing. Because he
Right.
needs something, and Lotus Orb won't do anything. He doesn't have the money for BKB, nor does he want to commit the money to buy it right now. So he's got to go for an item that might not be like amazing, but it's the best chance he has for the like the cost.
Right. And there is some part of it's got an easy build up, you know, guaranteed steps so you can buy it in small pieces. It's a small aspect, but it adds up here. Radiance now out on No Tail. The farming begins for the Naga Siren. A little bit later than maybe ideal, 19 minutes, but still
I mean,
on
you
the mark.
say a little bit later, but again, he was kind of left alone for a while, and they're just going to murder Blink Bottom.
Yep.
He just gets exploded by the Axe Call and the Static Storm.
Yules did not make a difference.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't Yules yourself while your Axe called, so die in the stun. There's
Yep.
not much you can do.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a hard game, though, honestly. Like, they put him in a very rough spot at the beginning. And, to his credit, he's still got, a fair amount of net worth given the circumstances. And he's, level 13, so it's not like he's completely out of the game. But
Yeah.
you would kind of have hoped that with as much pressure as they were applying to Blink, that Faith Beyond would be able to do something and, kind of carry the game from the offlane. But I don't necessarily know how often he's played this hero, but it doesn't feel to me like it's something that's within his comfort zone.
Yeah. The lead starting to slip from random. The troll was really a big part of it earlier on, but now that No-Tail has his big farming tool, Invoker not only has Midas, but also the completed Aghanims now. OG are able to farm pretty quickly, and they are finding pickoffs here and there. Axe now closing in on the Blade Mail. A lot of key items starting to come out. And it is a similar story for the Radiant. BKB now up on the Troll. Always a huge pickup. And maybe this will entice the Radiant squad to group up. Maybe look for a pickoff. An item that you can use to gain momentum.
It's a timing for sure. The one thing is, like, there's Overgrowth, and there's Axe Call, and there's Ensnare. So I'm kind of looking at this in the sense that it's a necessary purchase. Like, he needs the BKB absolutely, but it's really hard to utilize it effectively in the game. Because what happens if he pops BKB and then No-Tail songs and they just net him, and no one else on his team has a BKB? He's just sitting there, and then he's like, oh,
Yeah.
right.
All of a sudden it's a 5v1 while the rest of his team's asleep. Yeah, it's not great.
It's really rough. But he's still having like a really good game. Highest net worth. Kind of keeping his team afloat, as it were, in regards to the money category.
Yeah, going for the Manta style. Needed. And Brood has had this Orchid queued up, but just purchased a Diffusal. Oh, great item.
Yeah, he's going Diffusal Manta.
Yeah. Great for chasing people down. And also another hand of Midas now on the Treant. So players starting to buckle in towards the late game. I mean, not a big surprise when there's a Naga on one side and a Troll on the other, but embrace the farming.
Yeah, there's no rush for OG. They're going to be feeling pretty confident, I think. Their Naga's getting to the item progression you want her to be at. And Team Random are kind of running around the map right now looking for something. They might lose Ice here.
Yeah, smoke
He's
rotation.
very far from teammates. Oh, he's got no TP.
Sets it up. He does use a Dust. Sunstrike will not be on the mark. Looks like another fight breaking out on the backside, though. Disruptor gets caught, and they'll bring him down there. No-Tail and S4 going in onto the Ember Troll. BKB gets popped by Shadow, doing a lot of damage to the Axe, but here we go. Song of the Siren and Snare still on cooldown. It's not enough to save Axe. Not exactly the scenario we were picturing, but they set it up with Ana. They kind of missed the combo a little bit. Now No-Tail just gets focused down. Ana going to be locked down as well. It's a full team wipe for OG. Sunstrike comes in, will not find any kills, and all 5 hit the deck. Teamfight recap, not going to be much help here, but my God, there we go. What a convincing fight. That's a 3K net worth swing.
That was completely... Like, that outcome was completely unexpected. Like, the best case scenario from popping the 10-second BKB, the absolute best case, is that the Ensnare is on cooldown like that, and you're able to run down a very important hero with a inflated net worth, and that's exactly what happens. He kills S4 with the BKB. Even with the song pop, they're not able to get the kill. Bottom, they were going for like the Earthshaker kill, and Ice looked like he was really out of position. Just ends up baiting OG, walking into a shrine fight that they were ill prepared for.
Yeah.
They lose every single hero. Like, I was saying before how, I didn't really feel like the Brood was doing that much, but, after a team fight like that, you look at the net worth, and now Faith Beyond's number 3. or
Yeah.
I guess number 4 technically, but you know,
Still,
he's gonna be up there now.
even with the Naga, and will continue to farm as he moves into Manta. The other key problem there after the Song of the Siren came out is there was no ensnare. It was still on cooldown, so the troll couldn't be stopped. And it's just unfortunate timing, but if No Tail just had that a few seconds earlier, they probably could have saved the axe, and maybe that fight could have gone differently. Still very convincing. Looking at the overall graph, a little Loch Ness monster pops up to about 4,200 net worth and nearly 7,500 XP advantage for Team Random. Jerax walks into the Dazzle up top, connects with an Overgrowth, Sunstrike, and S4 will secure the kill. That's a nice pickoff for OG. It'll make a small dent, but they'll need a few more of those to really get control of this game.
Yeah, that Blink Dagger on Ice is going to be huge as well.
Yeah, there it is.
Like that was such a huge turnaround. Like they went from being kind of in this position where they're struggling to maintain control of the map to, oh god, we just wiped OG. Like literally just killed all of them. And now OG are the ones who have like this defensive posturing. I mean, sure, the Naga Siren Illusions are going out. They're doing the farming thing. But man, that was huge.
Shaker with a Shadow Blade queued up.
It's pretty common. He kind of builds the same item as Magnus, actually. Your
Yeah.
Blinks, your Shadow Blades, your Force Staffs. Sometimes you see Aghanims if the game goes like crazy late, or like Octarine or something like that.
I guess the Aghanims is somewhat viable. It's kind of a luxury item. It's a little bit gimmicky, but it is pretty obnoxious. Up top, Faith Beyond might be in some trouble, but again, it's a bait. Troll comes charging in, destroys the Disruptor. Now Jerax tries to TP home, and he will make it. Axe left behind. A set of pickoffs here for Random. Another pretty good fight. Again, BKB Song of the Siren. The Troll doesn't really seem to care. He just solos the team. Now down in the bottom lane, Ana gets dunked on by Ice, and Shadow will help finish him off. It's 3 dead all of a sudden across the map. OG
That was
are
a
in
really
trouble.
nice bait there from Shadow.
Sure
Well,
was.
the thing is, like, Ana gets put into this like false sense of security because he sees a TP, and he knows the Troll BKB'd. Oh, they might find Blink. Okay, defensive Yules. And he's out.
Remnant out.
Okay. So, when he TP'd and Ana realized there was no BKB, if he hits that tornado, he actually, you know, if the Earthshaker wasn't there, he thinks to himself, I'm going to kill this troll if I hit this tornado. And then he kind of wants to stick around because he knows the BKB is down, ends up dying, gives away Roshan as well to Team Random. My goodness. The last, like, 5 to 8 minutes of this game has been unbelievable turnarounds from Team Random. And, like, the Earthshaker is actually coming in pretty huge. One of those heroes that is hard to make look nice, but he's doing it. Blink? Guess he didn't want to go for the kill there.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't have detection, never mind. I thought for some reason that he had dust, but he doesn't.
All right. Slow and steady. Now that they have the Aegis, maybe finish off some of these outer towers. Still a tier 1 standing down bottom for OG. So Random could definitely start commencing a bit of the 5-man. They are farming very nicely here. Maybe just wait for the Scotty on Troll. Shadow about halfway there. And still out farming the Naga Siren.
Yeah, this troll is massive.
Dire's middle tower is
Like,
under
sure,
attack.
No Tail didn't have the safe lane or anything like that. He didn't get the usual position 1 pampering or anything, but to be ahead of a Naga for this long, still impressive. So, for now, you know, Team Random, they kind of hold the,
Radiant's
I guess,
middle
team fight
tower
advantage, and they're going for it.
Oh, here we go. Initiation on the Invoker. That's really where it starts. No Tail pops the Song of the Siren, but it's kind of far back. It doesn't really do a hell of a lot. I guess it's enough to break up the fight, so we'll call it a success. Shadow does not use the BKB. I don't think he ever even got put to sleep. So they do disengage. Whoopsie. Meanwhile, up top, they do catch S4, and Jerax could still go down. They have a sentry ward, but he's not dusted. All right, so Random still get a pick off at the end of it.
Dire's bottom tower is
I mean,
under
that's kind of what you expect in the Brood versus Axe matchup after some time is, you know, the Axe blink calls you, but with Insatiable Hunger, 140 damage and 140 lifesteal, which means that you are pretty much getting a DD rune, and you're healing more than you hit for, which is like an insane amount at this stage in the game.
Yeah. truly is. Here we go. Initiation onto the Naga Siren. Does not have the ultimate. Down for another 60. No tail. Gets blown up by the Dazzle. That's that heal bomb we were talking about. Now Naga Illusion's getting finished off. Brood caught by the combo from Invoker. Ghost Walk. Ana might still be able to survive here. Fly comes in with a kinetic field. Locks him in place. Sentry Ward does get dropped, but Invoker able to survive.
Top tower is under
Again, random. Getting the high-value prize. It's a dead Naga. All the while, Shadows in the bottom lane split pushing this tier 1. Jerax, living armor, tries to do something. Sunstrike sets up, actually brings Shadow pretty low. Remember, he has the Aegis, but they could finish it off here. He uses the BKB. I think he would have dodged it anyhow. But now the BKB will be on cooldown. He's got the TP. Can he make it out? S4 does not have the Blink Dagger. The Berserker's Call, not quite there. And they will live. Aegis still in tow. 2 minutes till it expires, but they will hold on to it.
And in the meantime, though, Faith Beyond takes the tier 2 in the top lane. It would have been actually a really valuable pick if OG managed to scout him out, because Shadow was greedy with his BKB because he wanted to preserve the Aegis. He wanted to give them a chance to win. Oh, okay. They're going to catch here?
Unrelenting pressure. I mean, No Tail's going to live, but Song stuck on cooldown immediately. And now for the next 2 minutes, he has to play a lot more conservative.
It just seems like the pace of the game like changed on a dime. It's like that one engagement in the jungle just flipped everything on its head, and like this Brood hero that wasn't really doing that much and was kind of, I was undervaluing it a bit, just comes into its own, takes towers, you know, kills S4 pretty much solo without the use of Battle Trance, by the way, which I really have yet to see the combination of the two, which it'll be terrifying when it happens.
Yeah.
But for now, it's kind of just OG scrambling to find something out on the map. You know, keep one lane out if you can. And it's just crazy to me that I guess in a way the Brood can keep one lane pushed in constantly, whereas Naga normally wants to push out all 3 lanes simultaneously. No Tail's having a very hard time doing that because he's either getting ran at, or the Brood's just shoving in one lane and he's very scared to go to the others.
Well, it's a tier 2 tower in the mid lane, turned to rubble by Team Random. Still that tier 1 in the bottom lane standing, but getting more and more map control. They'll find Jerax up top. They've got the Sentry Ward down. Manta from Faith Beyond secures an easy kill despite the overgrowth. No Tail trying to get that Octarine core, but still pretty far away. Doesn't even have the soul booster yet.
Well, they do force Faith Beyond to move across the map. I guess he's just going to set up shop in bottom now because there's still a tier 1.
Yeah.
And he's probably just going to, you know, push those 2 towers, keep that lane pushed in. The rest of his team is assuming OG's jungle. And now they're kind of at the stage, you know, Lincoln's now purchased on Blink. It's going to be a lot harder to take him out.
Yeah, he's also recovered quite well.
Yeah, his landing phase was not good. He died like, what, 4 or 5 times, something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's gone for kind of a different itemization, but it's working for him. Of all the Embers we've seen yesterday and today, I don't think we've seen Maelstrom until now. But it's working for him this game, and definitely a tool that lets you farm to kind of give you some extra damage in team fights and also allow you to farm neutrals very effectively.
Yeah, cheap efficiency. That's the name of the game.
Right.
Maelstrom. Let's see. Roshan is going to be up soonish, a couple of minutes. And then, oh man, can OG even fight it? I guess they do. They do have like the Wombo combo. They have the potential to land a really good song into the Static Storm and then Kinetic Field with the Meteor Deafening and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it seems like they've kind of been missing a few beats, you know? The first game they played against Team Random, they were really on point with it. Every single one was like perfect. In this game, it feels like they've messed up a lot of them.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're just hurting a lot more than they would be normally at this stage in the game. And sure, there's a lot of other things that go into it, but you know, normally their team fighting and everything is immaculate most of the time. Kind of surprising to see the fumbles so far that we've seen this game.
Ana is starting to get pretty big, though. He's got the Octarine core now, and BKB going to be coming out next. So that Wombo combo gets scarier by the minute. Even though Troll is getting more and more farmed, they have options, and No Tail is still continuing to recover. He's closing that gap on the Troll, hot on his heels. Mystic Staff only a few hundred gold away, so Octarine core will be there soon. And before you know it, that ultimate's going to have a 45-second cooldown, a big jump from the 120 that he's been forced to deal with. So they'll have that readily available as we see random. 5-hero smoke here in the mid lane. Let's see what they do with it.
Looks like the game plan now is just run down mid. Just get there as fast as possible. Fight around the webs.
Well, not going to find anything
OG
here. Yeah.
They're super scared, and I mean they should be. If they mess up and they lose a fight at this particular stage, it's potential racks. You know, depending on how many buybacks you have. The only person who can buy back right now is No Tail, so.
Oh wow.
Very tense situation.
Well, better safe than sorry at this stage.
I'm surprised that Faith Beyond didn't just stay bottom though. Like they're still a tier 1.
Yeah. Well, Triant keeps healing it up. They've gotten it very low a couple of times, but just haven't been quite able to finish it off. OG have stopped the bleeding, though. You look at that gold graph, and it's plateaued and then come back down a little bit. 35 minutes in, a 6,000 net worth lead is not a huge deal. The experience lead may be a bigger problem. You pull out that level chart, and we're going to have 3 level 25 heroes before too long, and right now OG does not have anyone that's even got the level 20 talent yet. So big disparity in terms of experience.
It's the Naga effect, though. Like, what happens is the Naga pushes out all the lanes, and the illusions don't grant experience, and no one else can farm the lanes that the Naga Siren is pushing. So, because of that, you know, you're, like, sticking together, doing all this weird stuff. Ice, looking for something.
TP's out aplenty.
Okay, looks like everyone is out.
S4 does not have a TP, but he does have BKB, as well as Blink Dagger. I think he should be good, unless they get really lucky here. And he'll be fine.
But yeah, there comes a time in every Dota game where you have a Naga on your team that sometimes it can become detrimental. And it's not really the Naga's fault. It's just that you have to push the lanes all the time. That's what Naga does. That's what makes the hero super annoying to deal with. It's just that you're taking away farm from everyone else, and you're pretty much ensuring that no one is going to get EXP, because those lane creeps are never going to die in the vicinity of your heroes. So, because of the fact that Team Random took so many good team fights consecutively and are able to just control the map as they are, they're going to be able to get EXP on all their heroes. OG will not. There will probably be like 2 or 3 high-level heroes, max, and then everyone on Random will be able to get levels, and then the team fights will dictate if OG is able to get their supports to where they want to be.
Yeah. Check this out. Naga Siren going for the Diffusal Blade. We talked about that earlier in the Naga versus Medusa matchup. But here it's just going to be a Diffusal for the mana burn and utility and team fights. Up top, we'll see S4 initiated on BKB, popped by Broodmother, Ice with the dunk. S4 actually doing some decent return damage, but they settle for Ana first. Allows S4 to blink away, but he still might not be completely in the clear. Living Armor helping pick him back up as Blink finally connects. He roots him, and Axe will fall. It's a set of kills for Team Random. 2 cores. Big pickoffs, and they might try to push off this.
Yeah, there's no buyback on S4, and they have a troll sitting right outside the base. They got the Dazzle as well for the sustain. They're going to have the Weave armor as well with the Solar Crest. For OG to stop.
Well, they glyph right away. Living Armor on the tower. It buys it some time. Buyback on the Invoker. Popped, but Axe does not have one. He's in the grave for 35 seconds. Naga popped, but Axe does not have one. He's in the grave for 35 seconds. Naga was out. Faith Beyond falls, and Shadow will get left behind. OG end up getting 2 kills, but remember, they had to buy back, and on top of that, they still didn't hold the melee barracks.
Yeah, I mean, I got the 2 of the more valuable heroes, I guess, out of the buyback, so at the end of the day, it's probably about as good as they could have asked for, considering the heroes that got picked off before the fight started.
Right.
It's still, though, it shows how difficult it is, you know, when you don't have that magical DPS. There is kind of a silver lining, though, is that if the Brood and the Axe don't, or sorry, the Brood and the Troll don't buy back, OG will get Roche. And that could actually open up an opportunity for, you know, OG themselves to force Team Random into a similar position that they were just in.
Yep, slowly but surely. Invoker will drop the Sunstrike for some extra damage. And it looks like Team Random not too wise. There will be a TP from the Ember Spirit. He'll scout this out. Ana slowly trying to take down Roche. BKB gets used by S4 and won't be able to find much avail with it. They break the link into Blink. Fly glimpses him back. This could be a kill. S4 ready and waiting. And Sunstrike will break.
Fight it and potentially win, because that would just straight up win them the game, because they would all have buyouts just in case things went like really poorly for them. But instead they end up getting some heroes picked off. Sure, they didn't have to use buybacks, which means they'll have it for this defense, but it felt like they were trying to get way too much.
This is pretty scary. OG doing a lot of damage to this tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Income from that lane, but I think in some ways, because they haven't killed the shrines either, that there's still an opportunity for OG to potentially even this up if they find the right engagements. The other thing too is, you know, Fly is very close to Aghanims, and that item is crazy strong. Like, if you get caught by Song and you don't BKB, and this is probably one of the absolute strongest things about this particular combination of heroes, you cannot BKB afterwards, because the Song will overlap with the Static Storm, and then you will never be able to BKB and you will just die.
Yeah.
So they're kind they're kind they're kind
Ags, also a potential turning point in this game in favor of OG. Ice Ice sets up mid lane onto Invoker. Follow-up damage is there, and say goodbye to the Aegis. OG on the way in. Here's the setup from
Oh, they can
No-Tail.
catch the troll.
This is the debut. Fly. Static Storm. Does not... Oh, there it is. Troll Warlord gets low. S4 trying to finish him off.
Magic immunity, pretty much. They catch the troll with the Aghanim Static Storm. He can't BKB. He's dropped super low, no Satanic, so he can't even heal himself, even if he was able to pop the BKB in the first place. Even with S4 biffing on the dunk, they still kill him. Like, oh man, that has to hurt so bad. For
On the
Team
back,
Random. They're
they
gonna
catch
lose
the
Brood as
Broodmother.
well.
She does have a buyback, uses it right away, but Barracks will fall. Ana just pushing them back. EMP.
Or anything to be able to reliably get those illusions off the map fast. Man, that team fight was actually so hard to watch because they didn't know that he had Aghanims.
Exactly.
Because there's no way they jump him like that if they know the Disruptor has Ags, because they're just gonna kill the troll. You know, Shadow is feeling super tanky before that point. He's like, oh yeah, whatever. If I get Static Storm, I'll just BKB. It's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the best Aghanims reveals on Disruptor I think I've ever seen in terms of catching. Of catching. Of catching. Of catching.
As hard as you can and hope that it's gonna work. It's a very, very tough spot to be right now if you're Team Random.
Tornado comes flying through. Doesn't find anything. Ana is decked out, though. That's a Shiva's Guard now, in addition to everything else. 9-second BKB still. Initiation. Song of the Siren.
Oh, Jesus.
as well as the Forge Spirits. But this tower, it's going down. I mean, they are doing pretty effective chip damage.
It's like the slow death by 1,000 cuts, you know?
Yep.
They're just going to keep doing it.
All right, here we go. This is Ember Spirit. No Troll, but they're still going to set it up with the Static Storm Kinetic Field.
Everyone's been in this situation, so I think everyone can empathize with the whole, oh god, the Naga Siren's pushing in our side lanes, oh god, we can't like win the fight and defend our base at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a very, very rough situation to be in.
So 2 buybacks used. More economic damage. OG furthering that lead. And now they pretty much just have to do that one more time. Chi's been sitting in the pit. The aged Gouda. 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 They need to get back and defend as creeps are killing some of their safety structures.
I think Ana actually really messed up there. He deafeninged the troll when he was hitting S4 with Blade Mail. I think if he didn't deafening and he used like another damage spell, he probably would have killed the troll.
Yeah. And he also pushed him out.
Yeah, he pushed him out as well. So now, like, all of a sudden, Team Random had this opportunity to actually go for the Roche. I mean, the tier 4s are gone, then you're just getting chipped on your throne, and that's a really, really hard thing to deal with. So it's going to get a little bit harder, I think, for Team Random to just freely leave the base for obvious reasons. And they're still a tier 1 bottom. So if they're going to go for the win, I don't know if they just claim the money from this lane or if they want to go just all in mid. Like, I'm actually kind of torn on what the right call is here, because it's very unlikely that I think they're going to be able to get bot. Get bot. Get bot. Get bot.
The combo they need, Ember, of course, does have a buyback here. Else will be respawning in 90 seconds.
Can
Slow
they
and
hold?
steady.
That is the question.
Well, well, well. Well, now the second buyback comes. It's a 5v3. Troll manages to get off the BKB. And OG will just disengage. They see the buybacks, and they'll be happy with that economic damage.
They only have to do it one more time. I mean, like we talked about earlier, the song committal is not that big of a deal. Very low cooldown, only 45 seconds. Didn't commit the static storm either, which means that if they walk in, they get that combination off one time. You know, Faith Beyond, no buyback. Blink, no buyback. They catch one of those heroes, they're just gone.
Yeah. Now, Troll's buyback, as well as Earthshaker's, both coming up in about 30 seconds. Troll has the money.
The really nice team fights, and then the great equalizer, the Disruptor Aghanim's. My
Yeah.
God, did that thing actually just totally destroy them? Because the
It
reveal
turned the whole
of it
game.
was, yeah, the reveal of it when they killed Shadow, that was like all the momentum that Team Random had was just gone. Because they go on the Aegis carrier, he comes back, he has his BKB to pop on the Invoker, and they get caught out by that combination, and then at that point they just lost all map control for pretty much the rest of the game. They didn't really get it back. I guess I guess I guess I guess I hope they get to do more stuff in the future. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. So this will be the end of the group stage today, folks. There's an off day, and then the main event begins. So a day of rest, and then a lot of Dota to be consumed. 16 teams will be squaring off in that big, massive bracket. Very exciting stuff. So take care. We'll see you next time.